stop. You can keep listening to this show online. Just open up the WFUV app or head to WFUV.org.
Ghosts and ghouls and goblins are scary, but nothing is scarier than losing. The spooks and terrors of Halloween have passed, but there's one haunting fear that continues to linger. The threat of Fordham's first winless season since 1999. Last week's blowout loss at Lehigh sealed their fate. There will be no postseason for the Rams this year. But there are still games to play, and questions to answer. Freshman Trip Holly's exciting collegiate debut breathed life into a listless Fordham offense, sparking the Rams to 16 points in the fourth quarter. Now we've got a QB battle on our hands, and an exciting rookie gunslinger looking to take over the reins. And let's not forget, we could see history at Rose Hill. With senior linebacker James Conway expected to return, the Fordham and Patriot League tackle records are once again up for grabs. It's Fordham versus Colgate, Week 10 in the FCS, live on WFUV Sports. Halloween weekend at Rose Hill. What better time for Fordham football on WFUV Sports? A November 2nd matchup in the Patriot League. The 0-8 Fordham Rams hosting the 2-6 Colgate Raiders. What's up, everyone? Lou Orlando, Evan Harkin. We've got Annabelle Watson along the sidelines. There's been some partying in the Bronx. There's plenty more partying to be done this Halloween weekend. Fordham football looking to get in on that party. They haven't done a lot of partying. 0-8, winless at this point, Week 10 in the FCS. We haven't had a winless team in Fordham football since 1999. Evan, you know Fordham really wants to avoid that.
This team trying to avoid partying like it's 1999. That's not usually how the saying goes, Lou. But like you said, at this point in the season, you're playing for pride. Yes, you want to go out there and get your first win, but you're playing for your brothers, especially those older Rams. You're playing for your coaching staff, head coach, Coach Conlon. And the Colgate Raiders know as well that this Fordham team did not come to play today to roll over. They want to go out there and get a win. Head coach Stan DeCosta even mentioned we know they're itching for their first W, so we have to go out there, be strong, and try to control this game.
Fordham, Colgate, November 2nd, Week 10 in the FCS. And we'll get you all set up for this matchup. Before we do, Evan and I caught up with head coach Joe Conlon on Friday. Lou Orlando, Evan Harkin, joined by Fordham football head coach Joe Conlon. Coach, when you look back at last week, those first two defensive drives are 3 and outs, and then it feels like things unravel in the second quarter, and they don't really unravel in the second half. What happened specifically in that second quarter that you pinpoint and go, that can't happen?
Yeah, well, we got put interception, and we got put in some tricky field position, especially right that drive right before the half. There's that piece of it. We get a lot of receiver to run past us on the outside, which hasn't happened a lot this year and cannot happen. Thought we were just a little hesitant on third down, from a front standpoint early on. Started to pick up in the second half. We got some sacks and some hits on the kid. And, we didn't tackle. We didn't tackle, and we didn't fit the run great on a couple of runs, and that hurt us. And then once the ball got to our third level, we didn't get it on the ground.
Drew Minnick with his first start over at safety. Trey Bradford, one of his first starts at safety. What did you see from the DB room?
Yeah, those guys are playing hard. Trey played a really good game coming in for Nate against Holy Cross. Drew gives you everything he has, and that's just kind of – there's just some things they're going to get by playing more that, maybe not showing up right now. And, just kind of understanding leverage in a couple of situations and things like that. But their effort's fantastic. They're not afraid to come downhill and be physical. There's just some little things they got to clean up, but they know that, and they're 100% working to do it.
For a freshman like Drew, how difficult is it to come in as a cornerback and then have to switch over to safety? How different are those two positions?
Yeah, it's not ideal. You're a lot more involved in the run game at safety than you are at corner. You have to understand linebacker fits and D-line and all that. So it's tough. Credit to Drew. He's working on it. So it's not easy. he's got a great attitude about it. It's just an unfortunate position we're in with, we had 4 safeties out last game, which is unusual, let's say. Drew's been, he's a heck of a ball player. He's a guy that's on every special team, and we think he's got a tremendous future, but for him to selflessly transition from corner to safety without a complaint and pick it up as fast as he has is a real credit to him.
You mentioned the offensive line had to run their feet well at the point of attack to allow Julius and those running backs some rushing lanes. What do you think of the way that O-line played?
They worked hard. I thought we did a good job. I thought Ryan Joyce played one of his better games. We struggled at times with a little bit of movement. Juice had a pretty good day, but there's definitely room for improvement.
What made you feel that Tripp was ready to come into a collegiate game and make his debut?
Well, I just thought something obviously needed to change. We were struggling to move the ball on offense, and credit to Jack. He's handled it like a true pro, and because that's what he is. And just sometimes making that change, gives you a little bit of a spark, and so we went with it, and it did. And Tripp did a good job out there.
Did the way Tripp played give you confidence to put him into future games?
Yeah, I think it's going to be something we look at week to week, and who's practicing well, and who do we feel can lead the offense.
When I talked to Matt Jaworski yesterday, he told me don't even ask about the first sack. He was so upset that it taken this long. He was joking, but he was so upset that it's taken this long. But we've talked about it all season long. He's been in the backfield, it feels like, all year. To see him get that first sack, I imagine that felt pretty rewarding from
Well, yeah, one, because Matt's such a great kid, and two, because he worked so hard, and obviously it was a sack fumble that we recovered and then scored, so that was great. But yeah, you love seeing guys' effort pay off, and we've been talking to Matt in recent weeks just about changing some things up, and credit to him, no ego. He's done it, and to see it pay off in a key situation was fantastic.
What did you see from that linebacking core, Jalen, Mike, Jackson, especially without Conway out there? Yeah,
it's always great to have Jimmy out there. I thought, Jalen runs around, wants to be physical. He's just, it's another deal. You're playing a young kid. There's more football needs to be played, for him to understand kind of the nuance of the position. Jackson's been really steady since probably Stony Brook. He's just, I thought he played a great game against Stony, probably the best game of his career, and, I was kind of like, what were you thinking out there? And he said, I wasn't, I just played. And I was like, well, there you go. So he's been really steady since that game, and he continues to be. And yeah, Mikey plays hard all the time. His teammates matter to him. He would tell you he didn't have his best game on Saturday, but he played his tail off. I know he will continue to.
Coach, thanks a lot.
All right.
Lou Orlando, Evan Harkin, Week 10, the Fordham Rams, the Colgate Raiders here at Jack Coffey Field in Moglia Stadium for just the 4th time this season. When the Rams come out here on their home field, the offense is going to look a little different. Obviously, C.J. Montez has been injured back in Week 3 against Stony Brook. We haven't seen him since. It had been Jack Capaldi taking over the reins. That's going to look a little different today. The freshman Tripp Holly making his first career start.
And Joe Conlon said that Tripp played well out there in his first start last week. That was not a start, but his first chance to get into a college football game, and he did do pretty well. Did a lot with his legs, 11 rushes, 25 rushing yards, and a touchdown to cap that off. And those were all in his first stats of his career. Not too much in the passing game, 69 yards. But I think the biggest thing, Lou, was you were able to see that when the play broke down, Tripp Holly did an excellent job of turning negative plays into positive plays, seemed to have that ability to improvise and make things happen when they're not there.
Well, for Fordham, the offensive story has not been good. The 14th worst scoring offense in the FCS, 16.6 point per game. The 11th worst total offense in the FCS, 278.5 yards per game. Both of those dead last in the Patriot League, and halfway through the third quarter last week against Lehigh. The Rams struggling, only 3 points to show through 3 quarters. Coach Conlon made the move. He put in the freshman Tripp Holly, made his NCAA debut, and while it was not a perfect or flawless performance, it sparked the Rams to 16 points in the fourth quarter.
It showed flashes that Trip Holly could be a really good quarterback and gave Coach Conlon confidence in him as well. He replied yes to my question as to whether Tripp's performance gave him the confidence to put him into future games. But they're going to have to play some good offense today because this is a good defense out there, Lou, especially in the run game, which is what Fordham wants to do. Colgate with the second best run D in the Patriot League. They've given up the least rushing touchdowns and the second least rushing yards in the entire league. But Trip Holly might have to throw the ball out there a little bit because on the other side of that, Colgate has the worst passing defense in the Patriot League right now. Most passing yards given up and touchdowns given up. So look to see Trip Holly try to get something done in the aerial attack today.
Well, Colgate 2-6 overall, and that is the second worst overall record in the Patriot League. Fordham has the worst at 0-8, but you can't sleep on Colgate. You can't rule them out of anything just yet. They're 1-1 in the Patriot League. They dropped their opener against Holy Cross 38-7, came back the following week and beat Georgetown 38-28. Evan, we've seen teams win the Patriot League with a 5-1 conference record. Now, obviously, tricky with tiebreakers and Holy Cross at 3-0, but this is a Colgate team that still believes they can go out there and win the Patriot League.
And Raider head coach Stan DeCoste mentioned that they have to win this game. They have no room, no leverage to leave games up to chance, so they want to come out here, start early, keep going strong throughout the game. And what that's going to take for them to beat the Fordham Rams, it's going to be stopping Julius Luffridge. That's something their head coach mentioned. He's the heart and soul of that team. The key for every opposing defense team is to be slowing number 15 down. So that Fordham offense, look for them to get a little creative. Last game, Julius Luffridge, 5 receptions. That's his most on the season, trying to get him the ball in different ways than just the rushing attack.
We talked about a massive difference in the offense. One crucial difference with the defense today for the Fordham Rams, that would be the return of James Conway. He played against Lafayette and Holy Cross. In total, he's missed 6 games this season. He can play 2 more and retain the red shirt, and this is someone that's chasing history, Evan.
And Coach Conlon mentioned that defense looks a lot different when number 48, Jimmy Conway, is out there in the middle of that field. 17 tackles against Holy Cross. The last game he played, 30 tackles in only 2 games that he's played all season long. And like you said, Lou, chasing history right now, looking to break that Patriot League tackle record, 16 away from that, looking to take over the Fordham football record set by one of his coaches out there on the sideline right now, Ryan Greenhagen. He's 9 tackles away from his Ram tackle record.
1:02 p.m. from the Bronx. We're set for football. Colgate will kick away right to left. Kick goes end over end, bounces left and goes out of bounds, and Fordham will start their first drive from the 35-yard line.
That's pretty uncharacteristic from Luke Vogler right there, the kickoff guy for Colgate. He's been pretty good all season long. Only he's kicked 2, now 3 out of bounds. 16 touchbacks on 34 kickoffs. Like I said, uncharacteristic from him.
The Fordham Rams had a strong opening drive against Lehigh where they got the field goal. It stalled out after that, and again, Trip Holly sparked them to 2 touchdowns, a pair of 2-point conversions, and we'll see if it translates as the freshman from Dallas, Texas, trots out there, his first career start.
Trip Holly lining up out there in the shotgun. We don't see Garrett Cody out there. He doesn't have pads on right now, so Ricky Gonzalez out there wide for the Rams.
Opening play of Week 10 in the FCS, Fordham versus Colgate. It's Holly in the gun, Luffridge to his right. Snap, handoff, Luffridge, runs middle. Made contact. The 37-yard line, brought down at the 38, a gain of 3.
Well, we know the rushing attack starts with that offensive line. Coach Conlon mentioned last week they had to run their feet better at the point of attack to help out Julius. He said they played hard but didn't get that amount of execution done, looking to do that in this game.
Luffridge to the left of Holly on 2nd and 7, the opening 30 seconds of our ball game. Holly motions his tight end across right to left. This is the handoff. Luffridge, run right, has space, off right tackle, brought down around the first down marker. Enough to pick up the first. Fordham moves the chains.
Well, that time the offensive line doing exactly what they set out to do today, and that's give Julius Luffridge the edge. That time, right tackle out there. It's been Owen Deutsch all season long. We see Hank Perry out there in that spot, typically a guard, doing a good job of sealing the edge.
8-yard carry. Fordham 1st and 10 from their own 46. As the kick out of bounds gives them excellent field position to start. Holly, the give to Luffridge, runs left, bursting up the middle, crosses midfield. Ruled down at the 47-yard line in Colgate territory.
Lou, I mentioned the formula for Fordham to have offensive success all season has been get Julius going early. They're getting him going early here. That's his third straight run, third straight pickup of good yardage.
2nd down and 4 for Luffridge. 3 runs, 17 yards to start out. 13.5 to play in the first. Pair of receivers either side for Holly. Takes the snap, quickly looks to the far side, connects with a receiver. Cole Thornton past the first down marker. Trip Holly's first pass goes for a completion and a first down.
Well, there's number 6, Cole Thornton on the outside. He's been their guy this season. A lot of people expecting it to be Garrett Cody, second-team All-Patriot League, but it's really been Cole Thornton leading the team in receptions, receiving yards, receiving touchdowns. Pretty much every stat out there for wideouts.
1st and 10 from the 40-yard line. Luffridge stays out there to the right of Holly. Cole Thornton lined up far right. Holly back to throw again, looking left, takes the deep shot from Mekhi Felton, incomplete. And I think Mekhi Felton might have lost that one. That looked very catchable.
Right, Lou. Felton with a chance to make a play on that ball. One he's going to wish he had back in film because that seemed to be a pretty good throw from number 3, Trip Holly, who didn't seem scared to set his feet and let it fly right off the rip, no pressure. Impressive confidence from the freshman.
Trip Holly, 8 of 18 for a 44% completion rate, 69 yards. In just over a quarter of play against Lehigh. 2nd down and 10, 12:43 left in the first. The keeper, Holly, takes it left, jukes up, 35. Stumbles forward, down at the 33-yard line, and for the first time today, we see the legs of Trip Holly.
And Fordham loves that read option, whether it's Jack Capaldi or Trip Holly in that spot. I think the big difference we can see, Lou, is that Trip Holly can really make a man miss, really go and get yards when they're not there. Not a good runner, but a game-changing runner with the ball in his hands.
Jack Capaldi was athletic. This is a legitimate dual-threat quarterback in the freshman Trip Holly. 3rd and 3. This is the handoff. Running left, chops the feet, takes it up to the 30-yard line, first down.
First down right there on the play. Good job from the halfback of going into the initial hole, bouncing out, and slicing through the defense. The Fordham rushing attack looking good. 4th and very short. Fordham trying to line up quick here, Lou.
4th and 1. 11:45 and ticking. Holly takes the undersnap. Charging forward right along the 30-yard line. And this one's going to be awfully close. Conlon saying move the chains. Referees hesitant to say that.
And I think you can see what you can do with such an athletic quarterback in Trip Holly. Fordham never really lining up for the tush push. They run it there, but the Colgate Raiders certainly think that they got the stop. We'll see.
First time all season that we've seen a Fordham quarterback go under center. Trip Holly with a pair of tight ends behind him. A little bit of the Philly tush push that we've seen with the Eagles in the NFL. And they're going to have to take the chains out here and measure this one. So 4th and 1 rush by Trip Holly. And this one could come down to a matter of inches.
And when you don't have the replay, it gets real tough to see exactly how far the tush push went.
The referee signaled that Holly was just short. Turnover on downs. And Colgate will take over from the 31-yard line.
Well, that's a massive break for the Raider defense and a very tough one for the Fordham offense that seemed to be having their best opening drive of the season so far. The Raiders, a good job on 4th down to stand their ground, build a stone wall on that defensive front. They have an elite front 7. That's what they do well, to stop the run, doing it there and heading the other way.
Take a look at that Fordham defense, and right in the middle, starting today, number 48, James Conway. Without Conway, the Ram defense has allowed 40.3 points per game. With him, 23.5. That is a stark difference. Colgate set to start this one. Sterney takes the snap, fires to Saunders out of the backfield, running left, past the first down marker, brought down just short at the 40-yard line. Call that a gain of 9.
Number 9, Trayvon Saunders. Get used to the name because you're going to hear it a lot today. Probably the best receiver in all of the Patriot League right now. Came into this season as a preseason first-team All-Patriot League pick. His 7 touchdowns right now, first in receiving yards and 7 receptions per game. Pretty dominant.
Trayvon Sanders, that's the more special receivers in this game. Sterney takes the snap, gives the handoff on the jet sweep. Winston Moore turns at the 40-yard line, up the near sideline, pushed out of bounds. And they'll say out of bounds in Fordham territory at the 45.
Winston Moore listed as a receiver, but they love getting him the ball in the backfield. That's his 5th rushing attempt of the season so far. 18 receptions, too. Truly a dual threat on that receiving core. Can do anything.
10:40 left in the first quarter. No score. Winston Moore, the 16-yard gain on the jet sweep. Sterney and empty. Looks left, looks middle, throws middle. There's Saunders at the 40-yard line. Goes back to try and work up. Ends up losing some yards. Tackled at the 43-yard line. Call that a gain of 3.
Saunders, the type of receiver that moves the chains, the type of guy, a possession receiver. Not one that's going to make you miss a lot in the open field, not one that's strictly a deep ball threat, just moves the chains on third down. Like I said, gets 7 receptions a game, so a guy you can put a lot of confidence in catching the football.
5 minutes into the first quarter, Sterney, the handoff, and blown up right away. Marco Maldonado, Jaworski setting the edge on the far side. Loss of 2 back to the original line of scrimmage.
Well, Matt Jaworski should just buy some real estate in the backfield of opposing teams because that's where he lives. 13 tackles for loss, 15 QB hurries. Those both lead the league. Last week had a massive game, a sack, a forced fumble, a hurry, 3 tackles for loss, and 10 tackles against Lehigh. Coach Conlon said you love seeing a guy's effort pay off.
Jaworski, career-high 10 tackles in that game. Got his first sack of the season, but he's been excellent all year long. 3rd and 10, 9.5. Sterney throws, left side, incomplete. Mike Courtney jumps the route, knocks it down. And Fordham a strong defensive stand on Colgate's first offensive look.
What a play on the outside by Mike Courtney. Out there in man coverage. He's played in that rover spot. Now plays true outside linebacker, but certainly somebody that can go out there and cover. He can tackle, too. He's got 60 on the season. Pretty interesting. 30 of those are solo, 30 assisted as well.
Here's Shelby Pruitt, the punter for Colgate, stands at his own 40. This is, you could argue, the best punter in the Patriot League. He was blocked twice last week. Just barely gets the punt away. Booms it right down the middle. It goes out of bounds. Touchback Fordham. And they'll take over from the 20-yard line.
Should be a battle of the 2 best punters in the Patriot League. Will Hazlitt and then Shelby Pruitt on the other side. We know how good Will Hazlitt is. Shelby Pruitt, top leader in a lot of those stats, is 61-yarder versus Merrimack. He's got the long in the Patriot League, 11 punts inside the 20. That time that one goes out of the back of the end zone. He didn't want that, but he'll give Fordham some hard field position heading in the other direction either way.
Fordham and Colgate, no score. 6 minutes into this one from Jack Coffey Field. You're listening to Fordham Football on WFUV Sports. What's up, everyone? I'm Lou Orlando.
And I'm Evan Harkin. We're your broadcasters for the 2024 Fordham football season.
The Rams chase a Patriot League title led by league-leading quarterback C.J. Montez and a host of talent, including James Conway, Niall Perkins, and Garrett Cody.
You can catch all of the games this season right here on 90.7 FM and the WFUV Sports YouTube page.
WFUV Sports, your home for Fordham football. Lou Orlando, Evan Harkin, 9 minutes, 10 seconds left in the first quarter. The 0-8 Fordham Rams, the 2-6 Colgate Raiders, a Patriot League matchup. And Evan with Fordham starting their second drive at the 20-yard line. You think back to their first drive. Strong running from Julius Luffridge, a nice reception for Cole Thornton. But that drive stops at the 30-yard line as Colgate the stand on the QB sneak. All things considered, not a bad first look for the Fordham offense.
Not at all. Probably one of their best of the entire season. It stops and starts with that offensive line. When they began to drive, which they truly were the entire drive, the offensive line did a great job of not allowing the running backs to get touched until the second level. We usually see Julius Luffridge have to throw a stiff arm and a juke before he even gets to the linebacking core. The offensive line doing a better job than they have all season of letting him get there untouched. And it's a little jumbled around. Hank Perry's out there at right tackle. He's a guy that's been listed as a guard, has only started at guard. So he'll get his first start in the tackle position, doing a good job of being flexible.
Holly the snack, play action, design, roll out right, looking for a throw and just sails it out of bounds. Nothing open in that play. Just looked a little off from the start.
Must have been a lot of pressure coming off the edge. You see 2 Colgate defenders run behind Holly as he threw that one away, but he had Cole Thornton on an in-breaking route. If he was able to throw across his body, which he seems athletic enough to do, could have been a big play.
2nd and 10. Hank Perry starting at right tackle today. Owen Deutsch injured in the second half last week against Lehigh, so Fordham's top 2 right tackles down at the moment. 2nd down and 10, 9:05 to play in the first. Quick play action, throws far side. Ricky Gonzalez speeds up for a 5-yard reception as Trip Holly, another pass and throw on the screen route.
2 for 2 on good perimeter plays from the Fordham offense so far. That's been a staple for them over the last few seasons, but really hasn't carried over into this season. One of the reasons they haven't had offensive success, improving on that out here to so far today.
3rd down and 4, 8.5 to play. Felton runs right to left in motion. 2 receivers either side. Holly gets a flinch from the right edge, steps up to adjust the play. Just 9 on the play clock. Snap, handoff, Luffridge. Luffridge met quickly after picking up a couple. This is going to be right around the 1st down marker at the 30-yard line, and he looks to be just short.
And this is going to be a 4th and very short again, if a yard, and they'll send Will Hazlitt out to punt. I was going to say, interesting to see if one of the most aggressive teams in the country decides to go for a 4th and 1 in their own territory early on, but they'll trot out number 49 to kick it away.
Fordham stuffed on 4th and inches on their first drive. They won't attempt to go for it on 4th and 1 from the 27-yard line. Hazlitt stands inside the 20. Gets the punt away, line drive, over the head of Hutchinson. Hutchinson goes back to field it at the 20 and spun down right there. Niall Perkins immediately gets to him, and that was a punt that made Hutchinson run all the way back for it.
We know Will Hazlitt's got a big leg, but that one went a long way. Not sure with the exact yardage yet, but 64 his long. It might have been even longer than that. Doing an excellent job of making the other team work very hard to go and get a touchdown this season.
7:31 left in the first quarter. No score yet between the Fordham Rams, the Colgate Raiders. And with that, let's send it down to our sidelines reporter today, Annabelle Watson. Annabelle, what are you seeing right now?
Here at Moglia with both the Fordham Maroon and the Colgate Maroon. We have students from Westlake Elementary School in the crowd today, and they are quite excited to see these Fordham Rams. They're getting a little rowdy. Fans are obviously hoping to see Fordham get their first win of this season. There seemed to be some obvious frustration after that first possession, but Captain Mekhi Felton encouraged freshman QB Trip Holly, saying, "Trip, I really like that drive. Despite the frustrations, there's still a lot of optimism on this Fordham sideline." Back to you guys.
And thank you, Annabelle. It is not always easy for the Fordham Rams to stay optimistic, Evan, to be blunt. This has been a pretty brutal season, not just the losing, some of the losses. They've been close ones, there have been blowouts, and there's been a lot of injuries this year. It's kind of been throw it all in the bag, and anytime you pull something out, it's usually not good.
Right, big picture, very hard to be optimistic in terms of this team, but smaller picture, looking at that first drive, like Annabelle was saying about Mekhi Felton and Trip Holly, lots of reasons to be optimistic about that first drive. You saw Julius Luffridge get out to maybe the best start he's had all season long, and you know that that's the key to success. The offensive line looked good. It just stalled out on a 4th and very short that really could have gone either way, Lou.
Fordham offense, we've talked about their struggles all season long. The Colgate offense, they aren't really world beaters by any means either, but they do have Trayvon Saunders, who will have to key in on when you talk about 7.3 receptions per game. Not only does that lead the Patriot League, that's 3rd in the FCS, so that is just a receptions machine.
And Coach Stan DeCoste mentioned he makes all of the tough catches. He's in full control of his parts of the field, and that's truly what he is as a receiver. He's in control. It's not the defense controlling where he's going to go. He's going to control where he's going to go make the catch and move upfield.
7:31 left in the first quarter, no score. Sturdy, play action, quick throw left side. There's Saunders at the 25-yard line, makes the reception, and a gain of 4.
That's what you can do when you have such an elite receiver that's so secure at catching the football. Just throw him a 5-yard hitch instead of trying to run the ball for 5 yards on first down.
Well, it's 2nd down and 5 with Saunders ruled down at the 26. Starney in the gun. Maldonado to his right. Starney back to throw. Steps up. Unloads over the middle. Hit as he throws. It's incomplete. Conway will jump on it. But it appears that pass ruled an incompletion.
Ruled incomplete very late, Lou. The referees really let James Conway run and dive on that football before signaling the whistle. Now they'll all signal incomplete, so it's definitely an incomplete pass. But who other than big number 34, Matt Jaworski, in that backfield again, adding another QB hurry, his 16th on the season. That one a QB hit too, definitely altering that pass.
Strong pressure from this Fordham defensive line. It's a D-line that has been a standout on a Fordham defense that has not always played well this year, but talk about Jaworski, John Scott on the edges. They've both had very solid seasons. 3rd down and 5, just under 6 left to play. Starney back to throw, facing pressure once again. Throws middle, incomplete.
Matt Jaworski back there again, causing the quarterback havoc, leaving him on his backside. That's most of the reason that was an incomplete pass. The other part of the reason, number 14, Alex Kemper in that back end, being very physical at the point of break for that receiver, not allowing him to get his footing and work upfield. A good job overall for the defense. They'll give the offense the ball back heading the other way.
Now the 5'11" Alex Kemper on that route matched up with the 6'6" Reed Swanson, but nice coverage there by Kemper, and Kemper honestly had a better shot at catching that ball than Swanson. Pruitt gets the punt away, end over end to the 40-yard line. Fair catch. Signaled by Cole Thornton, and once again, the Rams pretty solid starting field position. Last time they started at their own 20-yard line after their first drive, they started at the 35. That first drive, pretty good. They get into Colgate territory. The second drive, not so much. A very quick 3-and-out.
And look for the offense to get a little creative here. It's been a lot of Julius Luftwich. We've seen Trip Holly throw a couple of perimeter screen passes, but really not really try to work downfield. Look for him to maybe get out of the pocket, use those legs, get the ball downfield. There's a play. It was a play-action boot where they would send Matt Buron out into the flat, have Trip Holly run right behind him and put a defender in a bind. Is he going to cover the receiver or come play Trip Holly? Maybe expect to see that play on this drive. Expect them to get the creativity up.
They ran that play twice in the second half against Lehigh, and it worked to perfection. 2 receptions, 31 yards for Matt Buron, and the big one took them inside the red zone. Trip Holly, you have to take advantage, I think, right, of his athleticism and his ability to improvise. You know, Coach Conlon said one of the things he told Trip Holly was just cut it loose. Don't worry too much about the system. Cut it loose, make plays, and that's what Trip Holly did.
522 rushing yards and 11 touchdowns in high school, all with his legs. So somebody they knew when they were recruiting him could go and get it done in terms of athleticism. To your point about not thinking and going to play, Jackson Barletta mentioned that he wasn't thinking in the Stony Brook game a few weeks ago. It turned out to be his best game, and Coach Conlon told him it's because you weren't thinking out there, you were just playing. So maybe a concept he's trying to instill in all of these players to play a little bit less with their mind, a little bit more with their hearts out there.
Holly was sacked 3 times against Lehigh last week at the collegiate level. Sacks go against your rushing totals, but if you look at the rushing yards gained, which does not include the sacks, 11 rushes, 51 yards gained. That's a pretty nice stat line for a quarterback. Seemed
Comfortable as well, Lou. Seemed to have a veteran presence where he didn't try to turn everything into a run. He knew when to throw the ball away, knew when to get his feet set and just chuck it on out of bounds. So, like I said, a savvy veteran presence from a young freshman in Trip Holly that we saw last week.
6:43 left in the first quarter as Fordham takes over from their own 41-yard line. Holly has trips on the left side, Luffridge on the right. Luffridge now motions over to the left side. Holly the snap, play action, near side screen for KJ Reed. Catches at the 40-yard line and walled after a gain of 1.
There's the perimeter game again. We've seen Fordham try 3 times now, 1 on every single drive, to get the ball out in the hands of their elite receivers and let them go make plays. Didn't work on this drive, worked on the first 2 drives.
At the receiving core right now, only 1 senior on the field. Cole Thornton, Noden, Tracy, and KJ Reed, the other receivers out there. This time they hand off to Luffridge, runs through a hole up to the 45-yard line. Now brought down. Early going, Evan. This O-line opened up some holes for Julius Luffridge.
That time it was big number 76, David Evbo-Mena at the left tackle spot. He started every single game since the start of 2022. They have him listed at 6'5", 285. We've walked by David Evbo-Mena. He's a lot bigger than that, Lou.
5:50 left in the first quarter. 3rd down and 6. Holly has trips on the right side. A wide receiver bunch. Thornton and Reed off the line of scrimmage. Buron up on it. Clock ticks down to 5.5. Holly, play action, facing pressure, throws off the back foot. It's Julius Luffridge at the 40-yard line, taking it forward, past the first down marker. Oh, Julius Luffridge met with contact at the line of scrimmage. He takes it all the way up for the first down.
And there's the creativity this offense was looking for. Like I said, look for them to get the ball in Julius Luffridge's hands in other ways than the run. 5 receptions last week. They dump him off a screen pass, and he makes some magic happen.
5 receptions tied a career high last week. 1st and 10. Play action to Jacob Rodriguez. Holly motioning. He's brought down. The ball comes out. Rodriguez falls on it. Back at the 38-yard line. Trip Holly on the rollout, caught from behind.
Trip Holly got caught from behind there. I mentioned David Evbomania was doing a good job in the run game that time. He's the culprit for allowing his man to get around the edge and get to Trip Holly, but a great job of Jacob Rodriguez by jumping on top of that football, keeping the ball's hands in the Fordham offense. It'll be 2nd and very long.
This is going to be 2nd down and 23. A loss of 13 yards on the strip sack. Fordham recovers. Holly takes the snap, hands off Luffridge, shoots up the middle, nowhere to go. Back to the line of scrimmage, nothing else.
Nothing really there for Luffridge. That's what we've seen all season long typically from the Fordham offense. Julius Luffridge getting destroyed by multiple defensive linemen before being able to get to the second level.
Call it a gain of 1. It's 3rd and 22 with a strip sack by Justin Tatum. Has Fordham backed up. Holly has trips left. Tracy, Felton, Buron from the sideline in. The snap at 3:45. Play action. Holly looking left, steps up, throws left. Noting Tracy head high catch. Shy of midfield. That will still be 12 yards shy of the first down marker. It'll have to be another punt for Will Hazlitt, as the strip sack by Tatum kills any momentum for that Fordham offense.
Yeah, and there's number 1, KJ Reed, or Noden Tracy, rather. We've been expecting to see a little bit more out of him this season. Finally seeing him get some catches here, and then in the last game, he had a 17-yard reception versus Colgate, but only 3 on the season.
Here's the punt from Hazlitt. Sends it strong, spiraling to Hutchinson at the 15. Makes a man miss. 20, 25, tripped up at the 25-yard line. Michael Thorne makes the tackle.
Brady Hutchinson there on the return for Colgate. Head coach Stan DeCoste said it's no surprise how good he's playing this season. They knew the type of talent he had coming in. Leads the Patriot League with 5 receiving touchdowns right now.
Colgate has a double threat monster at wide receiver, double-headed monster. Trayvon Saunders, preseason All-Patriot League pick, first-team All-Patriot League last season. Hutchinson doesn't have maybe the All-Patriot League recognition, but a very solid wide receiver in his own right. Colgate offense takes over with 3:03 left in the first quarter. Still no score in this ball game.
What's up, everyone? I'm Evan Harkin, your New York Jets beat reporter for the 2024 season. Stay up to date with all things white and green from MetLife Stadium. From Aaron Rodgers touchdowns to Sauce Gardner interceptions, I've got you covered. So join me and Gang Green on Twitter at Ev Harkin and stay locked in with the JETS on WFUV, your home for New York sports.
Second and 11, Sterney throwing it deep down the field, diving grab, incomplete, pops out, it hit the ground. He wanted Saunders streaking from the slot. That will set up 3rd and long.
Saunders had that ball in his hands, too. Looked like he was going to make an unbelievable catch. A decent throw from the quarterback, Jake Sterney, just unable to connect far down the field.
Sterney taking a deep shot. The first down play, a handoff to Maldonado, loss of 1, 2nd down. The incompletion to Saunders. Now we're at 3rd down and 11. 2:16 left in the first. Sterney and empty. 3 down low, 2 up top. Sturdy looking middle, throws middle. Winston Moore cutting across, tripped up, shoestring tackle at the 30-yard line, well short of the first down. And once again, this Fordham defense impressing.
Fordham defense there, all in man coverage. James Conway doing a good job sticking on his wide receiver as an inside linebacker. Jackson Barletta, also a traditional inside linebacker, doing a good job of sticking on his wide receiver in man coverage. Some good flexibility from these Fordham linebackers on that play.
Back-to-back 3rd and outs by this Fordham defense, and that time they did it without James Conway, who did not take a snap. 1:38 left in the first quarter. Pruitt again barely gets the punt across. Fordham sending pressure. Thornton makes the fair catch ahead of the 30-yard line. 90 seconds left in the first quarter, and both sides offensively, not much to speak of. Fordham had that solid first drive. They were stopped on 4th and inches, and ever since then, it has been punt after punt after punt.
And they haven't been able to get the rushing attack going the way they did on that first drive. Typically, it's run the ball so that you can pass the ball, but you see Fordham trying to pass the ball and use that to be able to run the ball the way Colgate and other teams have been stacking the box, 8 players in the box against them. It leaves you with some room to work with these wide receivers on the outside.
Still looking for our first score of this ball game. Holly in the gun, 1st and 10 from the 32. Snap, play fake. Holly steps up, tripped up in the backfield. That will be a sack. The ball is loose. Colgate picks it up. But Fordham appears to have the ball. Looks like Holly was down and the play was dead.
They'll say Trip Holly's knee went down. That's a lucky break for Fordham. The ball looked to be jarred loose pretty much right when the hit happened. But I just mentioned other teams are putting 8 in the box. Colgate had 9 in the box on that play. You see how committed they are to stopping the run and how disrespectful they're being to the Fordham wide receivers on the outside, just putting them in straight man coverage.
Well, they're going to call that a rushing loss of 6, not a sack. Holly, design rollout right, throws on the run, and just sails it out of bounds. No one open. Fordham will face 3rd and long, 16 yards away from the first down.
And Lou, the philosophy of this Raider defense that we didn't see on that first drive, that they transformed, evolved into picking up in this game, is getting after the quarterback, sending everybody at Trip Holly. It seems to be straight man coverage across the field. Anybody not covering a receiver, go rush Trip Holly, make the freshman scared, make him antsy back there, make him throw it away.
Pillars of this defense are the linebackers, but a very strong defensive line as well. Holly looking middle, facing pressure, forced out to his left. He'll tuck and run along the sideline. Steps up to the 30-yard line, takes a hit at the 35, and knocked down at the original line of scrimmage, so he picks up 6. Either way, though, Fordham will have to punt as we get our 3rd look at Will Hazlitt here in the first quarter.
And that was big number 32, Dane Picarillo, chasing him down in the backfield. This team's best defensive end, best pass rusher right now. 5.5 tackles for loss, a sack and a half on the season, really breaking out in his first season as a starter.
Clock ticking, 8 seconds left. We'll see if Fordham decides to punt. They do. Here's the snap at 5 seconds. Hazlitt, a booming punt, forces Hutchinson back to the 15, makes the catch, works up, and tackled after a gain of 2. Fordham getting in there quickly again. Alex Kemper, Niall Perkins.
Well, Will Hazlitt adding another one to that I-20 column. That stands for inside the 20, a great stat to see how accurate punters are at putting the ball where they want to. He'll add another one right there and put 15 on the season for him. It seems like every single time Brady Hutchinson sees a punt go up, he has to start retreating backwards because he wasn't expecting the ball to go that far, Lou.
No score through 1 quarter of play. Haven't had a ton of action. Nothing between the Fordham Rams, the Colgate Raiders. Let's send it back to the Rose Hill Studios, a one-on-one scoreboard update with Lydia Priner.
The one-on-one scoreboard.
Week 10 of college football is underway with plenty of top 25 games having already kicked off. We have a huge Big Ten matchup with the number 3 Pennsylvania State Nittany Lions hosting the number 4 Ohio State Buckeyes. The score there currently reads 14-10 Ohio State nearing the end of the first half. The Blue Devils headed down to sunny Florida to take on the number 5 Hurricanes. The Hurricanes currently lead that one 17-14 in the second quarter. Within our very own Patriot League, Georgetown hosts Lehigh in the nation's capital. That one stands where it started at 0s in the first quarter. And Lafayette and Bucknell clash in Lewisburg. They are tied 7-7 halfway through the first quarter in that one. Finally, with breaking baseball news out of the Bronx, Yankees first baseman Anthony Rizzo is going to free agency and pitcher Garrett Cole opts out of his contract with the Yanks. With your one-on-one updates, I'm Lydia Priner.
Thank you, Lydia. Lou Orlando, Evan Harkin, our sidelines reporter, Annabelle Watson. No score through one quarter of play, and Evan, there frankly has not been much action to talk about. The first drive was Fordham offensively. They're stuffed on 4th and inches, a turnover on downs, and since then, we've had 6 straight punts for both sides.
And for Colgate, it's going to be getting number 15, Jake Sterney, going. He's a decent quarterback. 5 touchdowns to 8 interceptions on the season isn't what you want, but he's been getting it done in other aspects of the field. 43 rushing yards last week against Merrimack, a touchdown and 2 interceptions. He took over as a starter for this team versus Cornell in week 4. Threw for 184 and a touchdown in that W. They have to get him going. He's one of the keys of this offense so far today. Only 4 completions on 8 attempts for 19 yards. They got to get this passing game and Trayvon Saunders going if they want to get some points on the board.
Well, Colgate without their starting quarterback entering the season, that's the senior Michael Brescia, one of the better dual threat quarterbacks in the Patriot League, and the Patriot League Rookie of the Year back in 2021. Brescia played the first 4 games of the season, but he's been sidelined since Cornell. That was his last game, September 21st. He's in a walking boot. They've handed the reins to Sterney, who's less of a dual threat, more of a strong-armed quarterback, and has had some accuracy issues, has had some interception issues, but this is a guy that can throw the ball down the field.
And we've mentioned Trip Holly's so elite on his feet. Well, Michael Brescia, there might not be anyone better than him on his feet in the quarterback position in the Patriot League. Racked up 255 rushing yards, 4 rushing touchdowns, all within 4 weeks before he was benched this season. Haven't seen him really back there on the field since. Like I said, it's been Sterney taking his spot, and they're going to look to get him going.
James Conway, 2 tackles in the first quarter. That gives him 419 in the career, 1 shy of 5th all-time in the Patriot League. So Conway now 7 shy of becoming the Fordham all-time tackling leader. First play of the second quarter, the jet sweep to Winston Moore, takes it wide, shrugs off 1 tackle, spins forward. Bradford brings him down and keeps it to a manageable gain of about 5. But Winston Moore, you said it, they love to get the ball in his hands.
Second rushing attempt of this game so far. All of them pretty much pitches or end arounds. They want to get the ball in his hands and get him near the sideline where he can make that speed, make people miss.
Came into this game, averaging 12.3 yards per attempt. It's pretty special, pretty explosive kid. Second down and 4, 30 seconds into our second quarter. Sterney tosses it right to Maldonado. Maldonado taking on the contact, eyeing the first down. He'll be brought down just short to set up 3rd and 1.
Marco Maldonado, the starting running back on this Colgate Raiders team. He's a 5'11 junior, moved over 100 carries onto the season today, and he's doing a good job in the first season as a starter on this Colgate football team. 2 rushing touchdowns this season, 334 yards coming into today.
And Maldonado is the 4th-string running back last year. He's taken over the starting reins, but this is the 6-foot Brendan Casamajor. Takes the direct snap, throws the screen to William Parker. Parker eyeing the first down marker, dives across, and this will be another close one. They use the running back to throw the screen. Parker takes it up the far sideline, and for the moment looks to be short.
Well, Brendan Casamajor, no passes thrown on the season. That's because he's this team's 2nd-string running back. And then William Parker, only 7 receptions as a tight end. There's 2 flags on the field right now, so we'll see what those are about. But an unexpected play right there from the Colgate offense.
I have to sort this out. Casamajor, we've seen them use him in Wildcat. Colgate likes to use that formation. Usually it's a run. That time he uncorked it for a screen pass. They get the tight end involved. The tight end looked short, William Parker, on the initial play, but obviously flags that we'll have to address. Illegal substitution going against the Rams, so Fordham appeared to have forced a 4th down instead of free 5 yards, a free 1st down, and Colgate back and running at the 26-yard line.
William Parker, the recipient on that play. Starting tight end on this team is about as reliable as it gets. 41 straight starts going back to the beginning of the 2020 season.
Well, more whistles. 5-yard penalty moves Colgate up to the 31. Sterney in the gun. Casamajor stays out there. A rushing touchdown last year against Fordham in the final game of the season. 13:25 to play in the second half. The give to Casamajor, runs right, bursts through a hole, still on his feet through a pair of tackles. Finally brought down by James Conway, who gets tackle 420, and that keeps him shy of the first down marker.
I mentioned Maldonado, the starter on this team, but they have no problem going down that list, giving the ball to Brendan Casamajor or Chris G. Casamajor, 3 touchdowns on the season. That leads the team, and then Chris G's got a touchdown as well, so unafraid to go down that running back depth chart.
2nd down and 3. Conway now tied for 5th place all-time in the Patriot League with 420 career tackles. Needs 425 to tie Ryan Greenhagen for 2nd place. Sterney hands off Casamajor, takes it up the gut. Not a ton of space to work with. He is driven back. Maybe gets back to the line of scrimmage. Fordham held strong.
Fordham interior defensive line dominating on that play right there. Coach Conlon mentioned defensive linemen doing a good job of destroying the line of scrimmage, but not doing a great job with their hands, getting off that block and making a tackle last week against Lehigh, starting to do it this week today.
No score in this ball game. 12:10 left in the first half. Casamajor to the left of Sterney. 3rd down and 3. Snap, play action. Sterney throws right side, incomplete. He wanted Swanson. Threw it just out of reach, and Trey Bradford right there in coverage to apply pressure.
Who else but old reliable Trey Bradford, a guy who came into the season as a senior expecting to only be on special teams, as he has pretty much his whole time here at Fordham, been forced into a starting role, and Coach Conlon said, we need guys like that, guys we know are prepared, that we can throw into a game. Said that Trey played a great game last week against Lehigh.
Fordham's been banged up in the secondary. Last week they had 4 safeties out. This week they get Boogie Owens back. Pruitt picks the snap up off the ground, takes a booming punt to the 15-yard line. The fair catch by Cole Thornton. I think you get a sense of why Shelby Pruitt, back-to-back years, has been named to the first team All-Patriot League for his punting.
Yeah, I mentioned Will Haslett was adding more to that inside 20 total. That time Shelby Pruitt will get on that list too. He's up there. He's 2nd in the Patriot League now with 12 punts inside the 20-yard line. So both punters showing off their pinpoint accuracy today.
Well, we're still waiting for our first score of the ball game. 0-0, 11:54 left in the first half. Fordham versus Colgate. You're listening to Fordham Football on WFUV Sports.
How's it going, everyone? Will Talent here, your New York Giants beat reporter for the 2024 season. Follow alongside me at talent_Will on X to catch all of the updates on your New York Football Giants from MetLife Stadium. With rookie sensation Malik Neighbors and big free agent acquisition Brian Burns, WFUV Sports is the place for Big Blue coverage. WFUV, your home for New York sports.
Lou Orlando, Evan Harkin, 11:54 left in the first half. It's zeros across the scoreboard. Fordham versus Colgate, and a Fordham offense that's looking to help out a defense that has been spectacular to start. 4 drives for Colgate and 4 punts.
The Fordham defense flying around right now, especially that linebacking core. You got Jackson Barletta, James Conway, and Mike Courtney, the big 3 in the middle. All of them not only doing a good job of playing the run, but like I mentioned earlier in the broadcast, they're playing some straight-up man coverage against really good receivers on the other side and forcing incompletions, forcing Jake Sterney to be quiet in this game so far.
We talked about the James Conway effect. It is tangible. This Fordham defense looks excellent to start today. Tripoli takes over with this Fordham offense, 1st and 10 from his own 16. Handoff Luffridge running right. Burst through a hole, picks up about 3 yards. He's up to the 18-yard line.
Just the way Julius Luffridge hits the hole lets you know that he's a different type of player. You see him explode whenever there's a crease, a sliver of opening, and really fly through, already seemingly getting 3 yards the second he's touched the football, as long as there's a gap in front of him.
Especially with a freshman quarterback out there. The emphasis on Julius Luffridge in the running game. Have to think even more. 2nd down and 7. Play action. Holly facing pressure, steps up. Tied up and brought to the ground at the 15-yard line. Well, Trip Holly kind of got caught and trapped inside the box. There's an injured Colgate D lineman. But Trip Holly sacked to set up 3rd down and long. And now we'll attend to our injured Raider.
We've mentioned James Conway, one of the best linebackers in the Patriot League when healthy. The best linebacker in the Patriot League this season so far statistically. Cole Kozlowski that time getting his 3rd sack of the season. This is a guy who leads the Patriot League in tackles right now at 87. Make that 88 after that sack. That's 11 tackles per game. This guy's been almost as dominant as we've seen James Conway in the past few seasons.
There is an injured Colgate Raider on the field. It looks like number 94, Joe Kelly, a freshman defensive lineman that has really impressed up the middle. Looks like a lower body injury as he's helped to his feet. And you talk about the linebackers that Colgate has. Well, obviously, Cole Kozlowski jumps off the page. 10.9 tackles per game, leads the Patriot League 3rd in the FCS. But also Christian Sweeney, all-Patriot League selection in the preseason, a 2nd-team All-Patriot League selection last year. Going in, felt like that was going to be their main linebacker. Kozlowski has stepped up and had a terrific season. Now you have a 2-headed monster there in the linebacker unit.
And Coach Stan DeCoste mentioned that they're both old-school linebackers. Those types of linebackers that used to wear a neck roll are not afraid to go up, get into the offensive line, get into the mix of things, put that head down and make some plays.
Kozlowski and Tatum split the sack. It's 3rd down and 9 from the 16. Holly has trips to his right. Back to throw. Looking middle. Throws over the middle. Incomplete. Biron had his hands on it. And a late flag comes from the back judge.
We see Colgate Raiders raising their hands up right now. Seems to be against them. Defensive pass interference.
A little hard to hear there, but pass interference on the defense. So Fordham gifted a 1st down. Biron running across the middle. Definitely felt like maybe some contact there.
Looking for Matt Biron, who's a big guy, 6'5", 250 pounds at that tight end position, leaves a lot.
And coming in, you looked at this wide receiver room. You said Garrett Cody, Mackay Felton, Cole Thornton, 3 senior wide receivers. Tough for the younger guys to crack the mix, but the younger guys have cracked the mix. 2nd down and 4, 10.5 to play. Holly, handoff Luffridge, runs left, has the 1st down, spins forward at the 45, now caught up and brought down at the 47-yard line. A flag from behind the backfield.
Trip Holly obviously upset as the flag flew. Seems to be a hold. We'll see what the referees have to say.
Illegal use of the hands, hands to the face. That's the left tackle, David Ebomenya. It erases a 1st down rush for Julius Luffridge, and it backs the Fordham offense up.
Untimely penalties are a theme we've seen all season long from the Fordham offense. The second they start rolling, the second they start playing on schedule ahead of the chains, they seem to have these big 10, 15-yard penalties right away that drops them back, puts them into that same old poor offensive category.
10 minutes left in the 1st half. This is 2nd and 19. Holly has twin receivers either side. Back to throw. Looking left. Facing some pressure. Brought down at the 5-yard line. Another big sack by this defensive line.
Andrew Tadeo that time on the sack. Big number 93, the nose tackle. 17, now 18 on the season, 5 tackles for loss. Another player on this Colgate team hopping right into that starting role from the backup last season and excelling now in their breakout years.
That is the 4th sack today for the Colgate Raiders. It has Fordham back at the 11-yard line, 3rd down and 30. Holly, handoff Luffridge. Shifts through a couple tackles, gets up past the 15-yard line, shy of the 20, and that is still going to be a mile shy of the first down marker. Due to penalties, due to some mistakes by a freshman quarterback in Trip Holly, a Fordham offense that was sparked to life in the fourth quarter has been anything but to start this game.
And that last play shows you just how much of a team sport, how much of a team unit offense is. Julius Luffridge able to skip through effortlessly about 5 or 6 tackles, but it really doesn't matter. You'll have to send Will Hazlitt to punt anyway.
Hazlitt punts away from his own 5-yard line. It bounces at midfield, takes the Colgate roll. Mike Thornton will pick it up at the Fordham 45. Colgate takes over in Fordham territory. And we've seen Will Hazlitt use his legs to great success this year. That time, Fordham backed up, and Hazlitt just not able to get his all into it.
A rare poor punt there from Hazlitt. Definitely a mistake. We've seen that a couple of times this season. Not a lot, but maybe 2 or 3 now where the ball hits off the end of Will Hazlitt's foot, maybe the right end, left end, too high up, wherever it's landing, not where he wanted it to be. Ends up being a poor punt, but when you punt as much as Will Hazlitt, Lou, leaves a lot of room up for some mistakes.
Fordham Colgate, still no score, 8:26 left in the first half. It's Fordham football on WFUV Sports.
Hi, this is Ben Oppenheimer reminding you to tune in to New York's longest-running sports call-in show, One on One. Catch One on One live on the WFUV Sports YouTube channel every Saturday from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. and then later on 90.7 FM from 11 p.m. to 2 a.m. We'll catch you next Saturday on One on One.
Lou Orlando, Evan Harkin, and we take it down to the third member of our broadcast booth, Annabelle Watson, standing along the sidelines.
Hey Lou, a lot of compliments flying around this sideline to the Fordham defense. A great start for them, as we know. The offense bench has been a bit quieter with those fouls, but CJ Montez and Jack Capaldi continue to encourage Holly and hope he can get this offense going. Back to you guys.
Well, thank you, Annabelle. And Evan, that is very interesting to note. I think you expect CJ Montez, a junior quarterback, an all-Patriot League selection last year, to be someone that these younger quarterbacks can rely on. But how about Jack Capaldi? Trip Holly essentially took his job this week and usurped him for the starting role, and Jack Capaldi still making the effort to help him through some rookie woes.
Yeah, Capaldi did not have the best game against Lehigh. 7 for 16, 1 interception, no touchdowns, less than 60 yards passing. Ended up getting benched for Trip Holly in that game. Coach Conlon said, quote-unquote, Jack handled it like a pro because that's who he is, the type of guy he is. You need those people in the locker room, real guys, real true teammates that are going to go out there and hope and play for this team to win no matter their own self-position.
Colgate just 48 total yards through a quarter and a half of play. Sterney, play action, quickly throws far side. Saunders at the 40-yard line. Tries to take it wide. He's forced out of bounds. Trayvon Saunders getting involved early. You know that's the game plan for Colgate.
Number 9, Saunders, showing you the fundamentals of being the best receiver in the Patriot League, and that's doing the little things right. That time on a curl route, does an excellent job of running back to the football the entire way until the catch, eliminating the lane for defenders to get in the way.
A 7-yard reception, his 4th of the ball game, 2nd down and 3. The clock ticks under 8 minutes. The handoff left side for Maldonado. Turns along the right tackle, picks up the first down at the 35-yard line.
Maldonado rumbling there, falling forward despite getting hit by a lot of Fordham defenders. Looks like James Conway and Matt Jaworski, the two-headed monster for this Fordham defense, the ones finally able to get him on the ground.
James Conway chasing history. The Fordham and Patriot League tackles records. Certainly looks like the Fordham one will get broken today, and he'll have a chance for the Patriot League one as well. First down and 10 from the 35. Sterney, play action, quick throw near side, almost intercepted. Alex Kemper got a great read on that one. Completely jumped the route, had it in his hands and dropped it.
Alex Kemper had a pick six 2 games ago at Moglia Stadium here against Stony Brook week 3. That time could have been his second pick six of the season if he was able to hang on. He jumps the curl route, cuts the receiver off, and would have had nobody in his way to the end zone, but ends up dropping that ball in the transfer.
7:16 left in the first half. 2nd down and 10 after the dropped interception. Sterney takes the snap, looks left, throws left. It's brought in by Hutchinson. Hutchinson past the 30-yard line. Quickly to him, Jackson Barletta, James Conway. Sets up 3rd down and 3.
Brady Hutchinson, 411 receiving yards. That's a lot, second most on this team. Top 10 in the Patriot League right now. When you have 3 good receivers, Hutchinson, Winston Moore, and Trayvon Saunders, it really opens each one of them up more because the defense can't just lock in on one.
Clock ticks under 7 minutes in our first half. 3rd down and 3 at the Fordham 28-yard line. Pair of tight ends in the formation. Casa Major to the left of Sterney and now whistles. Colgate will call timeout.
Fordham defense looking to send pressure right there. We heard Coach Conlon tell us, Lou, that they look to shut down Saunders on 3rd down. They're not going to have Niall Perkins specifically run over and face guard him the entirety of the game, but they're going to bracket him. They're going to do little different things to make sure he doesn't get the ball on 3rd. At time, each Fordham corner in full man press, so Fordham stacking the box, really doing away with that strategy and saying, let's go after Jake Sterney here. Colgate will take a timeout to think things over.
Evan, you tell me, as a Fordham wide receiver for a couple years, you know a thing or two about the game of football. How do you stop a guy like Trayvon Saunders that it seems like it's so easy for him to find holes, make receptions, rack up yardage?
Well, the easy answer for Trayvon Saunders is you don't, because he's that good. But like you're saying, Lou, the ways you try are with being physical. You have to be physical with those really good receivers. Get in their head because their bodies are so good at doing what they need to do. Saunders, under 6 foot, not a bigger receiver. So if you can get a corner there on the line, jam him up, try to get some hands on him, throw him off of his route that he's really good at running, and then put a safety over the top so that that corner can be even more physical, knowing that he has some coverage behind him. That's the plan for taking away number 1 receivers. Now, the hard part is getting that plan to actually work in the game.
Saunders entered today 150 career receptions, now up to 154. That makes him 5th all-time in Colgate history in career receptions. He's had a pretty special career, and he's only a junior. But you think back to earlier in the season, Week 5 against Penn, a career-high 16 receptions tied the Patriot League record. This is a guy that can absolutely go off, and it feels like they use him a lot inside 10 yards, find a spot, get open. Just so hard to stay on top of him.
Right, he exploded in his sophomore season in 2023, made himself a household name for Patriot League fans, and like you said, he can go in the slot, he can go in the outside, he can return punts, return kicks, do anything you need him to do out on a football field.
After the Colgate timeout, and they'll have 2 more with 6:37 left in the first half. It's 3rd down and 3. Sterney and pistol, Casa Major right behind him.
Saunders out there by himself with most of the field to work with. You see him in on the hash marks. That's a sign that maybe he's running an out-breaking route with all that room out there. You see Alex Kemper seemingly the only cornerback or defender on top of him.
Sterney takes the snap, runs right, picks up the 1st down. Leading forward with the head. Gets to the 25-yard line. That is hard running by the quarterback, Sterney.
Well, Sterney said, forget about the wide side of the field. I'm just going to take it up the gut and go get a big boy 1st down. That's exactly what he does. Head down, shoulder pad square, right through that Fordham defense, move the chains.
Jake Sterney, not as much of a rushing quarterback as Michael Brescia is, but still someone very capable of picking up yardage, and a pretty tough kid at that. This is going to be Wildcat formation for Colgate. The snap to Jake Sterney, rolls out right, throws on the run, Parker inside the 25. Tripped up and falls out of bounds after a short gain of 3.
Well, Sterney doesn't look for Parker too often, only his 8th reception on the season, but when he does, they connect pretty easily, somewhat of a safety blanket for this team.
An injured Fordham Ram on the field, and we'll take a break. 5:37 left in the first half, still no score, but Colgate looking to drive inside the red zone. Lou Orlando, Evan Harkin, it's Fordham football on WFUV Sports.
Hey, it's Chaz McAdams here calling you to tune in to WFUV Sports One-on-One, New York's longest-running sports call-in show. With hot takes covering all sports from the 5 boroughs and beyond, to interviews with some of the biggest names in sports media. We're live Saturdays on the WFUV Sports YouTube from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m., and then later on 90.7 FM from 11 p.m. to 2 a.m. Come join us next Saturday for One-on-One.
Sam Burkle, the injured Ram, he is helped to his feet, and he will hobble off to the sideline. Burkle had a big game last week. 1.5 sacks, 4 tackles.
Over here on this Fordham sideline, Cody Johnson, the center for this team, somebody that's been big on that interior unit, letting Julius Luffridge know a thing or two about what's working and what's not up front.
5.5 to play in the half. 2nd down and 7. Sterney in the gun. Casamajor to his right. Snap. Sterney throws left side. Niall Perkins intercepts it in the end zone. Perkins is going to take it out. 10-yard line. Cuts left. Now works back to the 15-yard line. Lunges and is brought down there. Niall Perkins all alone in the end zone. Intercepts it. It must have been miscommunication, Evan, but either way, Perkins, his 4th interception of the season, that leads the FCS. And he gets Fordham the ball with 5 to play.
Perkins, another interception, probably the easiest of his entire career. He looked like the receiver on that route. Like you said, Lou, a lot of miscommunication on the Colgate side. Sterney thought the receiver was going to go upfield. The receiver runs an outbreaking route, and that leaves Niall Perkins saying, oh, here's the football right in the air just for me. He'll pick it off and take it a little bit ways, give Fordham the ball back heading the other direction.
Fordham has seen a lot of Niall Perkins interceptions the last 2 years. That one might have been the easiest of his career.
Definitely.
1st and 10 from the 15 after the return from Perkins. 5:11 to play in the first half. Still no score. Holly the snap. Hand off Lufford. Straight up the middle. Met immediately trying to drive the pile forward. And he does. He picks up 3.
This offense, as it has all season, really lacking that big play today. You see them go for the same methodical drive attempt, 1st down, run the ball, see what you can get, only pass the ball when you have to. But again, they've scored 0 points today, haven't really advanced the ball past midfield, so look for them to change it up.
2nd and 7 from the 18-yard line. Luffridge off the tight end to the right side. This is Holly and empty. He's got trips left. Snap. Holly. Looking middle, scrambles to his left. Off to run, past the line of scrimmage, ball comes out. It's scooped up, 10, 5, end zone, touchdown. Scooped up on the fumble by Trip Holly, taken back for a score. Colgate breaks the scoreless drought in this ball game. Now there is a flag on the field.
What a play by Brady Hoke, number 33, making the tackle, forcing the fumble there. We'll see what these flags are all about. Ruling on the field is a fumble recovered by Colgate, who is now standing at around their 10-yard line heading towards the end zone. They'll pick up the flags. I don't think those flags turned out to actually be penalties, Lou. It just picked up.
Evidently on the fumble recovery, out of bounds before the return, but either way, Colgate takes over at the 10-yard line after the fumble by Trip Holly. Sterney takes the snap, hands off to Saunders, running right on the jet sweep, turns up on the edge, and maybe picks up a couple. Fordham did a nice job containing.
On that last major play, the fumble, forced fumble and fumble recovery, Brady Hoke making the play, making the hit, slapping at the football that Trip Holly was holding like a quarterback while running with it. And then Hoke taking Holly and throwing him to the ground as he was the only Ram close enough the ball to go and get on top of it, leaving Colgate defenders free to go and pick it up and run the other direction.
They credit number 39, Christian Magliacano, with the fumble recovery. 2nd and 8 after the run by Saunders. 3:40 to play. Hand off to Casamajor, stuffed at the line of scrimmage. Fordham defensive line setting the tone. And this will be a 3rd and long inside the 10.
Well, what a turn of events there, Lou. Niall Perkins gets an interception down here in the red zone, catches the ball in the end zone. You think, what a break for Fordham. They're heading the other way. That should have been points for Colgate. And then Colgate goes and grabs that ball right back, sets up shop exactly where they left off before that interception, negating their own mistake.
3rd and goal from the 8-yard line. 3:09 to play in the first half. No score yet. Sterney looking left, throws left. Here's Reed Swanson, spins into the end zone. Touchdown, Colgate. Colgate now breaks the scoreless tie. 6-0, the Raiders lead. The receiving touchdown by Reed Swanson, the first of his career.
Reed Swanson, 6'6", 200-pound receiver. You'd expect him to have more than just one touchdown, but that's his first. Expect him to have a lot more with that big frame. The type of guy quarterbacks love to throw to when they get down here in the red zone.
Fordham unable to capitalize on Niall Perkins' interception. They turn the ball right back over. And Colgate is able to take advantage. The 8-yard receiving touchdown by the sophomore Reed Swanson. Luke Vogler on for the extra point. Snap. Kick is on its way and good. Colgate ahead 7-0 with 2:59 to play. Fordham has time to even this one up before the end of half, but they haven't seen a lot that gives you confidence that they're going to be able to do that.
Well, at least they're switching it up because Jack Capaldi putting his helmet on. He'll be throwing on the sideline right now. All signs point to Capaldi going into the game right now, especially after that Trip Holly fumble. It was a bad one you'd expect to see from a freshman quarterback, which is not a concept we've seen a lot from Trip Holly. Seems to be a veteran out there on the field this time, showing that he's still a rookie with a poor fumble. He looks like he's going to be replaced by Jack Capaldi on this next drive.
Trip Holly, you look at his day, 6 of 9 for 39 yards. Now, that's not bad, but he took 4 sacks today, and he puts the ball on the ground twice. One, they recover. The second, a turnover in the red zone, and it felt like today Trip Holly just didn't have great pocket presence, and that was something he did a really nice job of against Lehigh, evading pressure, creating positives.
And the biggest thing for Trip today is insecure with the football, unable to hold on to it. The last thing you can do as a young quarterback in a struggling offense is force turnovers, cause more negative offense. So they'll be sending Jack Capaldi back out there. He's had more starts, a little bit more of a secure quarterback. Not the type of guy to put it on the ground. Also not the type of guy to show the explosion that Trip Holly showed.
Niall Perkins gets the interception with 5 to play. Fordham turns it over. Reed Swanson, the 8-yard touchdown. Colgate leads 7-0. Taken out from the end zone by KJ Reed, turning it wide. 15, 20, 25. Out of bounds, shy of the 30-yard line. A nice return by the sophomore KJ Reed. Solid field positioning for the Rams with 2:52 to play in the half.
KJ Reed, number 4, the sophomore from Irvine, California. They've been using him in this kick return role more and more. Seems like every week he gets more returns. Now solidified himself as the starting kick returner. It used to be Mason Hatfield. KJ Reed just showing off more speed, more availability to get through the hole and work upfield.
After the fumble by Trip Holly, here is the junior quarterback, Jack Capaldi. Took over the starting gig after C.J. Montez was injured week 3 against Stony Brook. Capaldi in the gun, 1st and 10 from the Fordham 27. Colgate showing pressure. They only send 4. Play action. Near side screen. Skips in to Mekhi Felton, incomplete.
Well, the last play you want your quarterback to have is the first play of the game is a screen pass that he couldn't even connect down the field. That ends up skipping into the hands of Mekhi Felton. We've seen Jack Capaldi not be super accurate with these perimeter throws, something you'd expect a quarterback to be able to do very easily.
2:48 left in the first half. 2nd down and 10 after the incompletion. Colgate sends 5. Handoff Luffridge, running right, shifts through 1 tackle, 30, 35, he's loose, trot down at the 40-yard line, tripped up from behind. But the big Luffridge run gives Fordham a 1st down, gets them closer to midfield.
And what a block by center Cody Johnson, who's filling his role as the center position this week. He's been bounced around to guard, that time moving linebackers 5-10 yards down the field.
2:20 and taking the 2-minute timeout, creeping up on us. 1st and 10 from the 41. Snap, handoff Luffridge, takes it up the middle, churns the legs and picks up 4.
Decent gain there for Luffridge, looking to calm down this offense right now. that seems to be a little bit amped up, especially with Capaldi just coming into the game, throwing an incomplete pass. They'll give the ball to Luffridge, let him get 4 yards, and calm everybody down as the Rams take a timeout.
This is the 2-minute timeout. 2 minutes even left to go in this first half of play. Colgate has taken the 7-0 lead on the 8-yard touchdown by Reed Swanson. It's the Rams looking to answer. Lou Orlando, Evan Harkin, Fordham football on WFUV Sports when we come back.
I'm Chaz McAdams.
And I'm Ben Oppenheimer.
And we are two of your hosts for On the Hill, the flagship podcast of Fordham Athletics.
We'll be talking about everything from football at Moglia Stadium
to hoops at the historic Rose Hill Gym,
discussing the ins and outs of all Ram athletes, teams, and big games.
If you want to be part of the Ramily, then listen to On the Hill from WFUV Sports.
On the Hill, Fordham Athletics podcast. That's going to heat up in just a couple days. Fordham men's basketball, Fordham women's basketball, their seasons kick off Monday at 6:30 p.m. For now, the spotlight on Fordham football, really the spotlight on Fordham water polo, ranked second in the nation. But today's spotlight on the Fordham football Rams. 0-8 coming into this one. They trail 7-0. It's Capaldi back in, gunslinging for the Rams. And if Fordham can just get points at the end of half here, you'd really feel a lot better of what you've done here.
Right, Fordham water polo 21-0. Fordham football 0-8 right now, so not all Fordham sports built the same. Maybe Fordham football can take a page or two out of that water polo playbook. But like you said, a big drive here on offense, Lou. If Fordham's able to go and put some points on the board, that can really change up the trajectory of this game.
We've got some time. We've got Annabelle Watson down along the sidelines. Annabelle, what do you have for us?
Thanks, Lou. The Niall Perkins pick seemed to bring some life back to the sideline. There wasn't a huge celebration, but the offense immediately got off the bench to get ready to take the field. The Trip Holly fumble and Colgate touchdown obviously took this life out a bit. As Evan mentioned, there's been a lot of discussion with Julius Luffridge and Jack Capaldi taking over QB duties, as you'll see right now. Back to you guys.
Here's Capaldi in the gun, 2nd down and 7 with 2 minutes left to play. In half number 1, Colgate ahead 7-0. Snap, Capaldi drops back to throw, airs it out over the middle of the field, incomplete. Wanted Ricky Gonzalez on the go route along the seams and just dropped in front of him.
Capaldi really letting the ball fly on that one right there. Good job by this Colgate defense, though, of not letting Ricky Gonzalez get back onto his spot, being very handsy downfield, but not drawing the flag.
3rd down and 7, the Rams at their own 44-yard line. Luffridge has been good today, 54 yards on 11 carries. We'll see what they decide to do here. 1:54 left to play in the half. Play action. Capaldi looking left, throws left. Slide and grab. Mackay Felton. Did he make the catch? He did. Brought in at the 45-yard line of Colgate. Fordham moves the chains on a pass that was nearly intercepted.
Maybe that can awaken the beast that is Mackay Felton. We saw it last season, 8 receiving touchdowns. This year hasn't been the same as last year, but that time an amazing diving catch, able to get both knees in on the sideline as he glides out of bounds and signals a 1st down.
Colgate calls timeout number 2, 1:48 left in the first half, and Fordham now at the Colgate 46 with that pass and throw from Capaldi to Mackay Felton for 10 yards, and that was one where I think the cornerback leaped a little too early. He was out of the play by the time Felton caught that ball.
Right, but still made it a very hard play for Mackay Felton. A really good job by him. Very characteristic of him in an uncharacteristic season so far. If that can get Mackay Felton going, that'll be a huge push for this Fordham offense that could really use a dynamic playmaker like number 1.
Mackay Felton missed a game with injury. He's been hampered a bit throughout the year. He's played in 7 games. Leads the team in receiving yards, just 186. Again, Fordham really hasn't moved the ball well down the field. But above all else, no touchdowns, which is weird. He's usually a touchdown magnet, and a lot of drops for a guy that's usually very sure-handed.
One of the more sure-handed receivers on this team. They throw him a lot of screen passes. They have specific plays that only Mackay Felton can run. They're only running this play if Mackay Felton's out there on the field, getting the entire offensive line out in front of him letting him work out there in space. But like you said, Lou, hasn't been able to catch the ball and bring it in and move forward at all this season. But we've seen him do it in the past, so we know that he has the ability.
Evan, you came up in his class in that wide receiver room, and he broke out in a big way in 2022 under Tim DeMore at 37 receptions, 525 yards, 6 touchdowns. Last year led the team with 8 touchdowns. This is a guy that at his best, one of the best receivers in the Patriot League.
Everybody knew Mekhi Felton was going to be special from his freshman days here at Fordham. One of the best freak athletes in the weight room, can lift a ton of weight. One of the best runners out here in the 40-yard dash as well. So everybody knew that as soon as Fotis Coco Sulis left Fordham and really transitioned to that slot receiver position to Mekhi Felton, it was going to be an easy transition.
Mekhi Felton's 10-yard reception gives the Rams a first down. Colgate calls their second timeout. They've got one left with a minute 48 to play. And for the Rams, you get that first down, all of a sudden you feel okay about where you're at. You have 3 timeouts. You have time on the scoreboard. You're trailing by 7, yes, but hopefully you can get a spark here from Jack Capaldi. Now the reverse. Tripoli came off the bench last week. Here's Capaldi coming off the bench looking to spark the offense.
In a decent spot right here, like you said, Lou, up and around midfield, one of the best spots they've been in all day, all season for that matter. And like you said, that brings up the what-if factor. What if we can go get a touchdown right now? Julius Luffridge, 4.9 yards per carry right now. If he can bust through a couple holes, at least set up field goal range, you can get some points on the board going into halftime.
The officials took some time to review that catch from Felton. The call stands. So minute 45 and ticking. Colgate ahead 7-0. Fordham has this ball at the Colgate 46, a fresh set of downs. The give to Luffridge, running left, takes on a defender and drives him back up to the 40-yard line. Strong running by Luffridge.
That's what Julius Luffridge can do when you give him room to work, lowering his head, driving those big, powerful legs through multiple Raider defenders.
Minute 20 and ticking, 2nd down and 4. Trips on the right side. Capaldi looking left, stands in the pocket, throws over the middle, it's intercepted. Colgate gets the ball back. Cole Kozlowski running left, turns at the 40-yard line, out of bounds. The junior linebacker, known for his tackling, he picks off Capaldi over the middle, and Colgate kills Fordham's momentum. They take over at the 40-yard line on their side of the field with a minute to play.
Kozlowski, the best linebacker in the Patriot League this season, just adding something else to that resume. He's already got a ton of tackles for loss, sacks, all of that. He'll throw his first interception on the season right onto that. And he did a great job of lurking right there, using Jack Capaldi's eyes against him, sitting around other zones, knowing the zone he really had responsibility of was to his left, and then jumps right in front of a receiver at the last second as Jack Capaldi throws the ball into his decisive plan.
And it's got to be frustrating for head coach Joe Conlon. Whenever button he presses, it doesn't seem to matter. Colgate takes over after the interception. Minute 2 left. From their own 42-yard line. Sterney makes a signal to his wide receivers. He's got 2 either side. Dropping back, throws on the right side. Swanson in Fordham territory. Caught at the 40-yard line. That's one Sterney must have saw at the line of scrimmage to adjust the play.
Right, exactly, and that's exactly the type of receiver you want on that route. Big number 80, Jake Sterney, 6'6". That's a cover 2 ball. It's in between a safety and a corner who are both flying at the intended target. You need a big guy with sure hands that you know can take a hit, bring it in, and move the chains.
18-yard reception. The clock frozen at 55 seconds as they reset the chains. Colgate ahead 7-0. Sterney throws over the middle. This time brought in by Saunders, 35-yard line. Call that a gain of 4.
Alex Kemper comes up and makes the hit in these situations when you're under 2 minutes. A lot of times, defensive backs sitting back 5 or 10 yards. They really just want nothing over their heads.
40 seconds and ticking. Sterney throws far side. Winston Moore out of bounds, ahead of the first down marker, ahead of the 30-yard line.
I mentioned the Rams sitting back as most defenses do in under 2-minute scenarios. Well, this Raider offense and Jake Sterney are using that to their advantage, taking the little yards, the little chunks they can get, setting up good field goal position.
36 seconds left in the first half. Colgate at the Fordham 28. Sterney claps a flinch from the defensive line. And Evan, you think this one going against the offense?
I do. The defensive line didn't seem to cross the line of scrimmage right there, causing an infraction. We'll see what the referees have to say, though.
Offsides going against the defense. Fordham penalized. They give Colgate a free 5 yards. Makes it 23 of Fordham, making this an easier kick for Luke Vogler, who will have a chance at minimum to make this a 2-score game. 1st and 5 from the 23. 36 seconds left in the half. Colgate already leads 7-0. Again, Sturdy makes a signal to his wide receivers. Snap, quickly throws left side, tipped, and intercepted! Niall Perkins! He tipped it in the air, he dives, and he catches the ball. What a play! His second of the half, Evan.
Number 13, Niall Perkins. We mentioned the interception earlier is the easiest of his career. That was the most impressive, most difficult interception by far of his career, maybe by anyone in the Patriot League so far. He's coming back to a curl ball, running full speed, has to lay out, dive, full extension in order to just tip the ball, ends up tipping it into the air, gets himself back on his feet very athletically, re-dives, and catches the football before it hits the ground. Doesn't get more athletic than that interception right there from Niall Perkins, the best corner in the Patriot League, no doubt.
A circus catch, and it gives Fordham the ball with 31 seconds left at the 23. Handoff, Luffridge bursts up the middle, 30, 40, still moving up to the 45-yard line. A 20-plus yard run for Luffridge. The clock stops at 24 as they reset the chains.
And there's momentum right there. This Colgate defense confused, worried about that last play. Julius Luffridge gashes them for a big gain.
16 seconds left. Capaldi looking left, steps up, scrambles to his right, stops, throws, right side, nearly intercepted. It's incomplete, and a flag from the back judge on the Fordham side. There's 6 seconds left here. We'll see what it is.
Odd spot where that flag came from the official behind the quarterback. We'll see what they have to say.
Roughing the passer going against Colgate. That puts Fordham into Raiders territory, and Bennett Henderson, along this season, of 52 yards. He's got a strong, strong leg. Right now, the ball spotted around the Colgate 40. They call it the 41. That would be a 57-yarder. They sent him out there against Dartmouth for a 56-yard field goal. It had the distance, just didn't have the accuracy, missed wide left. You wonder, do you take a quick play to try and get a few extra yards? Again, he's hit from 52. And you have the 2 timeouts.
You pretty much have to in this situation, especially with those 2 timeouts, Lou. You have 6 seconds here, so it's the type of play where you tell Capaldi, throw the ball right away no matter what. If that intended receiver, it's probably a one-read type of play. If that guy's open, throw it. If he's not open, throw it out of bounds so that we can hustle out there and go for the 57-yarder. But like you said, Lou, if you can get a little bit of a chunk here, maybe 9 or 10 yards, that Colgate defense, they're setting up right now. There's 3 very deep safeties just protecting the end zone. That leaves less men up front, maybe gives Fordham some room to get a chunk play and send Bennett Henderson out there for a makeable attempt.
Fordham at the 41 of Colgate, 6 seconds left. Capaldi drops back. This will be the last play of the half. He's brought down at the 50-yard line. Flattened on the near side. The Colgate defensive line steps up, and there will be no points at the end of half for the Fordham Rams.
And Fordham going for the Hail Mary attempt there. All of the receivers, straight vertical routes right into the end zone. Capaldi, his job there is to evade pressure, extend the play a little bit so that you give the receivers enough room to set up shop down there. Couldn't get out of the pocket, couldn't escape the pressure, takes a bad sack, and the Rams will go into half with a donut on the scoreboard.
Fordham shut out after 1 half of play. They trail 7-0, and quite frankly, they are lucky to only be trailing 7-0. 2 interceptions by Niall Perkins. Terrific defense from the Rams. The only points that come on the scoreboard are because of a fumble by Tripoli at the 10-yard line.
Lucky that the defense is playing amazing, and lucky that they have number 13, Niall Perkins, on their team right now. A total game changer in this game, despite Fordham not being able to get on the scoreboard just yet.
Colgate 7, Fordham 0, as the Rams shut out at halftime, looking to get their first win of the season. Not the strongest half offensively. Lou Orlando, Evan Harkin, our sidelines reporter, Annabelle Watson. Let's send it back to the Rose Hill Studios. Madi Dembele, Lydia Priner, the one-on-one halftime report.
The one-on-one halftime report.
Ladies and gentlemen, live from the WFUV studios here in Fordham University of the Bronx, New York, I am Madi Dembele, joined here by Lydia Prino. And Lydia, a lot to talk about. There's a lot to discuss. But before we get into that, we have your one-on-one scoreboard here. So we're going to take a second. Before we actually get to the meat and potatoes, it's going to be the halftime report with my wonderful dear friend Lydia.
The one-on-one scoreboard.
We have a lead change. Unranked Duke grabbed the lead going into the half against the ranked Miami Hurricanes. They have now extended their lead to 28-17 as the second half is underway. The Big Ten matchup in Pennsylvania now reads 17-13 Buckeyes. Number 4 Ohio State are looking to take down number 3 Penn State in that one. There's 5 minutes left in the third there. Also, a couple of big matchups are set to kick off at 3:30. The number 1 Oregon Ducks will look to take down the reigning national champion Michigan Wolverines at the Big House. The Florida Gators travel north to Georgia to play the number 2 Bulldogs in a Southern rivalry matchup. The 13-ranked 8-0 Indiana Hoosiers travel to East Lansing to face off against the Michigan State Spartans. Spartans will look for the upset at home there. In the Patriot League, Lehigh is now up 24-0 on the Georgetown Hoyas. That one is at the half. There's no scoring change in the Lafayette-Bucknell matchup. That one still reads 7-all near the end of the first half. And up north, we have exciting stuff, not on the ice, but on the football field. The Canadian Football League playoffs are set to kick off at 3 p.m., where the Ottawa Red Blacks travel to Toronto to take on the Argonauts. The Argos are favored in that one, but don't underestimate the red and black. Out west, the BC Lions head to the province of Saskatchewan to take on the Rough Riders. Kickoff for that one is set for 6:30 Eastern Time. For your one-on-one scoreboard updates, I've been Lydia Priner.
Once again, for those just joining in right now, that is Lydia Priner on the one-on-one scoreboard. Again, Fordham Rams hosting the visiting Colgate Raiders. And ladies and gentlemen, it's been a strenuous, I would say laborious affair in this one. Let's jump into the highlights really quickly. With both teams struggling to find footing earlier on, Colgate tries to make their first impression felt as the Raiders push the Rams back to their own 5-yard line.
Ali has twin receivers either side. Back to throw. Looking left. Facing some pressure. Brought down at the 5-yard line. Another big sack by this defensive line.
Afterwards, Fordham returns the defensive highlight. Nahil Perkins, he is having himself a day. He grabs the easy first interception to return it to the 10 for the Rams' advantage.
Snap. Sturdy throws left side. Niall Perkins intercepts it in the end zone. Perkins is going to take it out. 10-yard line. Cuts left. Now works back to the 15-yard line. Lunges and is brought down there.
Finally free at long last, the Colgate Raiders, Reeve Swanson specifically, breaks the ice and puts up the first score of the game, 7-0.
Sturney looking left, throws left. Here's Reeve Swanson, spins into the end zone. Touchdown Colgate. Colgate now breaks the scoreless tie.
And ladies and gentlemen, with that score, Reeve Swanson puts his Colgate Raiders up 7-0. That is what the score currently stands of as of right now. Miss Priner, please humor me. I think in these types of games, it's a bit of a, you try to find like the nuance of it. You try to look for those little bones and those little nuggets as to where you think the game is going to go. In terms of the Fordham Rams, you currently find yourself down 7, right? You're in the hole. You have not scored a single point, but there has been, I don't know if upside is the correct word, but Nahil Perkins, obviously with the 2 grabs of the interceptions, the second one being more impressive than the first one kind of falling into his lap, the second one him actually having to go out there. So I don't want to say it's upside for Fordham or have it be downside for Colgate. Obviously Colgate putting up the score, but you're thinking of everything that went wrong for the Fordham Rams. I mean, Trip Holly with multiple fumbles, and he's getting sacked 4 times. He's not putting up much yards, and still it's a very, very close game. It's a tale not of 2 different cities, but 2 of the same. Do you think that's fair?
I mean, I think you mentioned it there. Like, the fact that the Fordham hasn't really had too much going for them and a lot against them in a sense with the sacks against and the fumbles, they're only down 7 to Colgate. I think that's the thing as Fordham you have to look at the most is that this game is more than attainable. It's a 1-touchdown game. That's 1 throw, 1 run, 1 good possession. It's right there, but it's a matter of getting the fundamentals down, which Fordham hasn't done all season. I think it's safe to say. I don't know if that's a lack of focus thing, but you have the game right there. That's the good news. We've had many halftimes this season where we haven't been able to say that. But today we can confidently say it is a one-score game and Fordham has a chance.
You talk about Fordham having a chance and the fact that they could put it all together. And I think when you're the underdog in a game, particularly because of the fact that Fordham's been struggling all year, it's easy to find solace in the fact of being an underdog because it's almost as if you're playing with house money. And as of today, Fordham is literally playing with house money. We're in Jack Coffey Field or Moglia Stadium to be exact. So to play devil's advocate to devil's advocate, Fordham just seems completely out of their element. Like Nahil Perkins, not Nahil Perkins, Mekhi Felton. Usually they try to use him in screenplays. Like he's supposed to be the number one receiver. It's not there. Like nothing appears to be the offensive line we talked about at nauseum. Like nothing seems to be going the way of Fordham. Can you pinpoint me your biggest critique specifically for the Rams? Like where do you see the problem is, if I may?
I think the problem all season has been the fact that there's no time to throw the ball. Fordham has had no receiving game all season long. In this one, they only have 49 yards, but there's not really time for the quarterback to get the ball out of his hands because it seems like there's pressures every play, and if that comes from the offensive line not being able to protect or whatnot. But I guess another bright spot you could say is with the lack of receiving, we've seen a decent amount of rushing yards from the Rams, but I think for me that's the biggest thing. It's hard to, get 5 yards consistently and expect a first down if you can't make that deep ball, or not even a deep ball. You can't make a 10-yard play to get the first down. I think that's been the biggest issue for Fordham all season, and it's been apparent today.
Every time I do one of these broadcasts, I always try to bring up complementary football, right? Like defenses helping out offenses, because the concept is you don't want to have your offense on the sideline trying to get a Gatorade, or you don't want your defense on the sideline trying to get a drink, and it's time for them to get back up because it's the quickest 3 and out that you've ever seen. I feel like the offense within itself, not inter, they're not doing themselves a favor because with this Fordham Rams offense, it's going to be a lot of running. It's going to be a lot of running, and that's the main point of attack. And I don't know if having that as your pretty much only way of attack is it sustainable enough. Like I don't know if it's gonna get you enough points. Like I don't know if you could just work with that all game.
I think Evan kind of mentioned it in the first half. I believe it was him that it goes without saying football is a team game, but when your defense goes out there and makes plays, they get an interception or whatnot, you have to hope that your offense can then go out and use the momentum of the home crowd. I know we're down here in the studio, but I'm sure that there's a pretty good crowd out there. It is a Fordham home game nonetheless, so you have to use the momentum of the fans and the play at hand and hope that your offense can get something going. But if you're the defense, you're just frustrated because you're doing your job. You've only given up 7 points. You get the ball to the offense, which is what you want, and then the offense just goes 3 and out consistently.
And the team, defensively, they're making tackles. Like I have it right there. Barletta with 6, Perkins with 4 tackles and the 2 interceptions of his own. James Conway's a staple of this Fordham defense here, right? 4 tackles there. Brady Hoke 5, Christian Sweeney 6. Like guys are pulling their weight there. But I don't know. I don't know. If I'm asking you, Miss Priner, going into the second half, like how do you want to set the tone for an offensive team that really seems to be like the game is there, but how do you get that motivation out of them?
I think just, again, going back to the score, it's a 1-touchdown game. The game is right there. It's so attainable. And I know I said this earlier, but we haven't been able to say that often this year. And it's a home game. Having your crowd into it is important and feeding off that. But I think just not going for just playing it simple, just getting whatever yards you can, playing first down to first down marker. You don't need to make a big play. It doesn't need to just be a 2-play offense where you just throw it deep and then hope to get it in. All you got to do is just slowly make your way up the field. And I think that's the biggest thing that Fordham has to focus on is just getting the next yard right now on offense.
Just turning it over really, really quickly because I wanted to get your perspective on this. Colgate Raiders, 2-6 visiting team right now, currently up 7-0. Are you personally impressed with the way they've been playing? Because it's kind of the same hole, except they have the advantage.
I don't think they've done anything that catches the eye that Fordham hasn't necessarily done. It seems like it's been a really back and forth game in the sense that it's like there's a fumble and then there's an interception all within the same breath. So I don't think they've done anything outstanding that Fordham hasn't done. They've been good defensively. Obviously, they have the shutout going right now, but I wouldn't say that there's anything that personally like stands out to me over Fordham. Maybe you could say the receiving has been a bit better and the passing game has been a bit better, but nothing to me that makes it seem like Fordham can't win this football game.
You talk about keeping that mentality that the game is right there, but sometimes that's not enough, right? Sometimes it's like you talk about emotional equilibrium, especially in a game as laborious as football. You're putting your body on the line, and things just don't seem to be breaking down the way that you do. I mean, if you're the sideline reporter, if you're on the sideline there, like, how do you? I feel like we're going in circles here because it's so. It seems so apparent here, but the motivation, it's like, how would you juice up a team? Like, what goes into getting a team to focus in and bring them into a cohesive unit?
Well, these are athletes, and the number one thing athletes want to do is win.
Absolutely.
So just putting the rest of the season behind you and even thinking about the rest of the season, you have the chance to go out there and win your first game of the season in front of your home fans and on a beautiful Saturday afternoon in the Bronx. I think that's got to be your motivational factor, that you can have a chance to win a game. I mean, as competitive as athletes are, it all boils down to winning. I know there's tons of other things that go into that, but at the end of the day, the coming out with a victory is what is going to motivate them and should motivate them.
It should motivate them indeed. The ebbs and flows of a football game, they are long, they are laborious, but that's why they play the sport. Live from the WFUV studios of the Bronx, New York, Fordham University's very own, I am Madi Dembele, joined here by Lydia Priner. That was your halftime report. Fordham Rams, Colgate Raiders, they will do battle in the second half of this affair. Ladies and gentlemen, grab your popcorn, and more importantly, do not blink here from the Moglia Stadium. Football is left to be played. Ladies and gentlemen, we will be throwing it back to Lou Orlando and Evan Harkin in the booth as they take us through the second half. Ladies and gentlemen, please, once again, stay tuned. Thank you so much for the halftime report. We'll see you at the end of the game.
I'm Isabella Terracini.
And I'm Barrett Spreitzer. We're two of your hosts for College Gridiron, the exclusive home for all things college football on WFUV Sports.
Join us as we break down the biggest matchups of the week, Heisman hopefuls, and college football playoff previews.
Listen in on Spotify, Apple Music, or wherever you listen to your podcasts.
Nick Guzman here.
And I'm James Burley.
We're the hosts of FUV FC, WFUV's very own soccer podcast.
Tune in weekly as we break down everything there is to know in the world of soccer.
From the Champions League to the international game to Major League Soccer, we'll have you covered all over the pitch of the beautiful game.
You won't want to miss it. With a rotating group of hosts and beat reporters, FUVFC is your source for all things soccer, football, or whatever you want to call it.
If it's about the beautiful game, we're cutting it up on FUVFC.
FUVFC is a production of WFUV Sports.
It's Fordham football on 90.7 FM WFUV. Lou Orlando, Annabelle Watson, the third member. Lou Orlando, Evan Harkin, the third member of our broadcast team, Annabelle Watson. Evan, that was the third time this season that the Rams have been shut out at halftime. I said it a little bit going into half. I think let's talk about it a little more. No matter what head coach Joe Conlon and the Rams do, it just doesn't seem to work, especially in the passing attack.
Hard for Joe Conlon to pick a quarterback to throw out there. Will it be Trip Holly? Will it be Jack Capaldi? Well, today, both of them doing the last thing you want your quarterback to do, and that's turning the ball over, giving it back to the other team's offense. Capaldi with a major interception there. going into halftime. A really bad one, threw it directly at a defender that he just didn't see. That's a theme we've seen from him this season. Trip Holly, the young freshman, with a rookie-esque play where he's running with the ball in his hand as if he's a quarterback, untucked, gets the ball stripped from him, and it goes the other way for a Colgate drive. So for Coach Conlon, it's going to be getting back to the roots, getting back to Julius Luffridge and letting him go to work, Lou.
Julius Luffridge had quite the first half. 13 carries, 81 yards, 6.2 yards per attempt. And I think the fact that they only had 13 carries in the first half, maybe it makes you scratch your head a little bit. Julius Luffridge, despite the intense focus by opposing defenses, he's having an impressive day.
6.2 yards per carry is so much, especially when the opposing team's defense is only trying to stop you. Colgate being disrespectful to the Fordham wide receivers and the Fordham passing attack overall. They started out on that first drive where Fordham did well in a base defense, a lot of zone coverage, pretty much everything normal. Fordham pushed on that drive, had a decent drive, so then Colgate retaliated by sending everybody at the quarterback, stacking the box, 8, 9 guys in the box. Pretty peculiar stuff from them, but the idea of it is let's just stop Julius Luffridge. Even with this plan, they haven't been able to do it today. The Fordham offense should look to run Julius more.
Yeah, I feel like you have to give your best player, Julius Luffridge, the ball. We had noticed in the past few weeks that as Fordham's passing attack started to dwindle and really struggle, that defenses were able to key in on him, and it resulted in a little bit of a drop in production. That has not been the case today against a Colgate team that has the second best rushing defense in the Patriot League, just 129.8 rushing yards per game. Luffridge has rushed for 81 in the first half, and despite, as you said, the intense pressure, sometimes 9 in the box, he's managed to have his way and is making some Colgate defenders look like ragdolls.
You look at the stats for Luffridge today and you think over 6 yards per carry, only 13 rushes so far. They can't pass the ball. Why not just hand it to Luffridge? Why are they even trying to pass the ball? Well, the reason is they're falling off schedule. They're having decent runs on first down, second down, staying ahead of the chains, and then bang, there's a penalty. Bang, there's a poor play, a negative play. Someone drops the football. Trip Holly dropped a fumble that they were able to recover, but that sets you back so far. So that leaves the Fordham offense in passing down territory. If they can stay on schedule, stay ahead of the chains, that gives them the formula to allow Julius Luffridge to go crazy today and not have to ask their struggling quarterbacks to throw the football.
Struggling quarterbacks indeed. Between Trip Holly and Jack Capaldi, they are 7 for 14, 1 interception, 49 yards, and they've been sacked 5 times today. That's 5 first half sacks for the Rams allowed. One of those ended up being a fumble that they were able to recover, but feels like they can't get anything going in the passing game. And Evan, I've got some questions about that final minute and 40 seconds. The Rams with the ball, trailing by 7. They have 3 timeouts. They don't utilize them. And then they kind of punt with 6 seconds left, 56 yards away from a field goal. Bennett Henderson has this great leg. They don't really make anything of it.
The question becomes, why did Fordham have 3 timeouts left when there was only 6 seconds and they're sitting at around midfield, like you said, Lou, right around territory where they could get a kickoff if they need to. They need to get points on the board today. So you wonder if Coach Conlon really wasn't just locked in, really didn't have too much faith in his offense to score on that exact drive. But look for him to use those timeouts in this second half, set up his offense in a little bit better situations regarding the clock.
Fordham offense shut out in the first half by a solid Colgate defense, and one of the guys we highlighted coming into this one, Cole Kozlowski, the junior linebacker, leads the Patriot League in tackles, but it wasn't the tackle in the first half, it was his interception. Jack Capaldi comes in, felt like he gave the Rams a spark of momentum on that first drive. All that spark went out the window when Cole Kozlowski intercepted his pass and nearly set up the Raiders for more points.
Kozlowski, one of 3 linebackers that are having a major impact today and really have all season. That's why opposing teams in this league fear the Colgate front 7. They got Brady Hoke. He forced that fumble against Trip Holly. Kozlowski, like you said, got the sack. Sweeney's had a sack today. He's been playing well all over the field, making a ton of tackles. And then you get to that defensive line. Dane Piccirillo with a tackle for a loss. Andrew Tadeo with a tackle for a loss. The front 7 coming as advertised today.
Fordham defensively, we gave them some love going into halftime. Let's continue the love fest. 111 total yards for the Colgate Raiders, and Fordham gifted them excellent field positioning a couple times thanks to turnovers, but the Rams, 2 interceptions, both from Niall Perkins. You've got 5 pass breakups, Kemper, Boogie Owens, Mike Courtney, Jaworski, and Trey Bradford. This is a defense that has really stepped up and held this game manageable.
You're seeing the defense play extremely timely right now when they have to, when it's third down, when Colgate's in the red zone. That's when they're stepping up and making the big play. A major reason why the Raiders only have 7 points right now. Both of Niall Perkins' very impressive interceptions came on their half of the field, the half that they were defending. So just as Colgate reaches the territory they wanted to, Niall Perkins taking the ball away, sending it the other way. And then these Fordham DBs forcing stops on third down. James Conway running around in the middle of the field. We know how much different this defense is when James Conway's in there.
Without James Conway, 40.3 points allowed per game. With James Conway, 23.5 points allowed per game. The Fordham defense held Colgate to just 7 points in the first half. And for James Conway, a man who's chasing history, the senior linebacker, 4 tackles in the first half. He's now in sole possession of 5th place in the Patriot League with 421. He needs 4 more to tie for 2nd place, and that would tie him with the Fordham record, 425, set by outside linebackers coach Ryan Greenhagen. We talked to Joe Conlon a couple weeks ago. He said Ryan wants James to break it. Conway came in as a freshman. Greenhagen was a senior. They played together for a season, and that was pretty special.
They played together, and it was more than that, a true friendship. Ryan Greenhagen truly took James Conway, a young Conway, under his wing. Told head coach Joe Conlon told Conway to do exactly what Ryan Greenhagen does, follow him around all day, eat what he eats, study when he studies. And that formula has worked out very well for Coach Conlon and James Conway as he's emerged as one of the best linebackers in Patriot League football history.
James Conway looking to become the all-time Fordham tackles career record holder in front of a home crowd. Colgate will start the second half with the ball. It's Fordham decked out top to bottom. Black pants, black jerseys, maroon helmets. Bennett Henderson will charge, kicking right to left. Colgate white tops, maroon pants. The kick fielded by Moore at the 5-yard line. Takes it along the hash and brought down shy of the 30-yard line.
Good tackle there by Mike Courtney. Just a guy you could put on any unit on the field. He's on pretty much every special teams unit as he has been since he was a freshman back in 2020, tripping up a very explosive player in Winston Moore.
First time this season that we've seen Fordham break out the all-black uniforms. They are gorgeous. And it didn't spark them any points or any success in the first half, but they're looking for their first win of the season and a win in conference play. Here's Sterney in the gun, 1st and 10 from the 26. Handoff Maldonado running left. Courtney comes off the edge, makes the tackle after a gain of 3.
Maldonado, 4 attempts on the day, only 6 yards gain. They're looking to get him going. He's been a factor in this offense all season long, really hasn't been today.
Well, Maldo came into today having never been tackled for a loss this season. Fordham's caught him behind the line of scrimmage already once today. 2nd down and 8 after the 2-yard gain. 30 seconds into our second half. Sterney, play action, throws over the middle. It's incomplete. Wanted a man crossing over. That was Trayvon Saunders, but Boogie Owens right there and gives a little bit of a hit for good measure.
Wanting to get one of those stay ahead of the chains, just get the ball to Trayvon Saunders, which they do about 7 times a game. That's his average catch per game stat right there, sitting at 4 right now for 22 yards. So they'll look to keep throwing the ball to number 9.
The only touchdown of the game, Reed Swanson, an 8-yard touchdown reception. That's the only scoring in this ball game. 3rd down and 8. The Colgate 28. Sterney back to throw, facing pressure, throws over the middle, incomplete. And open Brady Hutchinson off his hands and incomplete.
Raider offense lucky that ball found the turf. Hutchinson did a sin as a wide receiver, and that's deflecting the ball up into the air. The only way you want to deflect the ball if you're not going to catch it is downwards so that defenders can't come and grab it. That ball was up in the air around the linebacker spot of the field for about 3 seconds, but no one able to touch it before it got to the ground.
The Fordham defense spectacular in half number 1. They start half number 2 with a 3-and-out. Pruitt inside his own 20. barely gets it away. Strong rush by Fordham once again. Fair catch by Cawthorn at the 35-yard line. And a Fordham offense led by Jack Capaldi will trot out there. This game started with the freshman Trip Holly. Freshman Trip Holly just didn't look comfortable. He gets pulled in the second quarter after a fumble inside the 10-yard line. And now it's Jack Capaldi threw an interception towards the end of the first half, but they also orchestrated a couple drives across midfield.
Capaldi definitely looking to improve in this game, sitting at a negative QBR right now. 5 attempts, only 1 completion, and that was an interception involved there as well. He only has 10 passing yards, but has not played the entirety of this game as it started out with Trip Holly, so he'll look to improve on this next Fordham Rams drive.
It has been a struggle all season long in the passing attack, even when C.J. Montes started the first 3 games. Prior to his injury, this Fordham offensive line made it very difficult for them to move the ball down the field. Those struggles have been raised exponentially when you turn to your second string, your third string quarterback. And the unfortunate matter for head coach Joe Conlon is they just don't have that many options. You want to go Capaldi, you want to go Holly. Either way, you're not going to have an all-conference quarterback on your hands.
Moving down the depth chart at quarterback, also moving down the depth chart in that offensive line room as well, so not helping out a case that was already negative in terms of allowing quarterbacks to be sacked. This team was doing a better job the first couple of games, sitting in double-digit sack totals on those games. They've evened out a little bit, but they still stand as the Patriot League's leader in sacks allowed with 38 right now. And then I mentioned this offensive line's a little banged up as well. No Cooper LaFon. He was supposed to start in that right tackle spot. Started against Bowling Green, got hurt in that first game of the season. Owen Deutsch was filling in for him in that right tackle spot. He's now hurt on the sideline, undressed, no pads on. So Hank Perry, a senior guard, filling his spot there at right tackle. Moving down the depth chart at pretty much every position is a battered and bruised Fordham Rams team, Lou.
It's an injured Fordham Rams team, both sides of the ball. Capaldi in the gun, his first drive of the second half. 1st and 10 from the 35. Colgate ahead 7-0 with 14:09 left in the third. Play action, Capaldi throws left side, head high grab, Ricky Gonzalez reaches for the first down marker. They'll say he's short by a couple yards, stepped out of bounds.
Perfect fundamentals there from number 5, Ricky Gonzalez. He's a younger receiver, only a sophomore, doing a great job of coming all the way back to the football on a comeback route, allowing Jack Capaldi to move down the field.
2nd down and 2, 13:45 left in the third. Here's the snap, handoff, Luffers takes it up the middle, picks up the first down, and carries defenders. He's still on his feet, refuses to go down at midfield, and I don't think he ever went down. Forward progress has him at the 49, but Julius Luffridge, extra hard to tackle today, it seems.
Julius Luffridge skipping and hopping in excitement and energy after that, because he didn't allow pretty much every defender on Colgate's team to try and tackle him, to take him down to the ground. As an injured Colgate player is down on the ground right now. That's number 7 over there on that Colgate defense.
That'd be the free safety, Asani Allen. Entered this season a third-team Phil Steele all-conference selection in the preseason after taking over the starting role as a cornerback last year. He gets to his feet pretty quickly. They'll help him to the sidelines. This is a Colgate secondary that's no longer graced with the presence of Owen Goss. He was their starting free safety last year. Transferred over to the University of Arizona. They lost a couple of key members in that secondary. Owen Goss goes to Arizona. Their cornerback Sage Luther goes to Illinois. So they've lost some talent in that secondary. And it's showed, and they've really been tough against, they've really had a tough time defending against the passing game.
And with those players leaving, you leave a lot of veteran presence behind. You're playing a lot of younger guys. That's been Colgate's issue right now in defending the pass. Worst pass D in the Patriot League, most pass yards per game, and overall touchdowns through the air allowed in the entirety of the league. And they just lost Asani Allen in this game as he walked off the field. Not sure if he'll come back or not. They're hopeful he will in this game, but he's the only senior in that starting unit that has been falling down to more and more sophomores and freshmen. You have sophomores in Tymir Wynn, Josh Steinspring, and Caleb Alexander. Those are the rest of the DBs out on the field, so you really didn't want to lose the senior leader in Allen.
Colgate really had a strong season last year, 6-5 overall. They went 4-2 in conference. That was good for third in the Patriot League. They beat Fordham at the very end of the season to get to 4-2, but they lost a lot of talent in the transfer portal, not as much as Holy Cross did, and mind you, Holy Cross still 3-0 in Patriot League play at the time of talking, so they really haven't skipped a beat. But Tyler Flick, their starting linebacker, led the team in tackles with 78. He graduates after being named the second team All-Patriot League. On the offensive end, you lose Max Hurlman, who was a kind of do-anything running back for you, transfers to Notre Dame. So Colgate, not as much talent as they had last year, still trying to vie for a Patriot League title at 1-1.
Still holding very strong in that front seven. The absolute strength of this team, it's the best in the Patriot League. That's why they're the best defense against the run. A secure formula for winning football games, playing the run well on defense.
13-10 left in the third. Capaldi looks left, throws left. A wide open Ricky Gonzalez takes it past the first down. He's tripped up around the 35-yard line, down at the 37. Fordham starting to drive into Colgate territory here.
And looking more towards Ricky Gonzalez in his matchup against Tymir Wynn on the outside. That's two sophomores going up against each other, a first-year starter in Wynn. Fordham looking to take advantage of that.
Rams without all-conference wide receiver Garrett Cody today. 1st and 10 from the 37. Handoff, Luffridge takes it off right tackle, running with speed up to the 30-yard line, down at the 29. 2 yards shy of the first. And it just feels like every handoff, Luffridge, you give him 7-8 yards.
And Hank Perry doing a great job in that tackle position, one that he's not used to, especially in the running game, which are guard specialty. He's really taking that concept, pushing it to the outside, and doing it well at tackle as well.
Fordham trails by 7. 2nd down and 2, 12-10 to play in the third. Snap, Capaldi throws left side. Ricky Gonzalez on the curl route has the first down. And Fordham continues to move.
That's the third reception on the third straight curl route for 5 yards for Ricky Gonzalez on just this drive. I mentioned he's working against Tymir Wynn, a sophomore first-year starter that's giving him a lot of room over there on the field side right now. So Jack Capaldi taking advantage of those short gains.
1st and 10 at the Colgate 23. Capaldi 2 receivers to his left. Gonzalez stays out there wide. Play action, Capaldi facing pressure. He's brought down by the 30-yard line. 6th sack of the game for the Colgate Raiders. And Fordham, a loss of 5 back at the 28.
Sack there from Kozlowski. He's been a maniac all over the field today. That time somewhat spying Capaldi, staying in that cover one hole spot in that dead middle of the field until he saw Capaldi start to tuck the ball, and then he sprinted at him and got the sack.
11-10 left in the third quarter. Fordham trailing by 7, facing 2nd and 15. Colgate sends 4. Delay give to Luffridge. Takes it up the middle, taking on contact, and drives back up past the 25-yard line, a couple yards shy of the 20-yard line.
Well, there goes Julius Luffridge again. And the position Fordham's in right now is why they can't just rely on running the ball with Julius Luffridge every single down. Even when he gets 6 yards, they just let up a sack that puts them into 3rd and long right now, the situation where you typically have to pass.
3rd down and 9. Ball spotted at the Colgate 22. Capaldi in the gun, twin receivers either side. 10.5 to play in the third. Snap, Capaldi looks left, throws over the middle. Buron awfully close to the first down marker. Inside the 15. They're going to walk this out, I think, just short, Evan.
Looks like it's going to be just short. Fordham, one of the most aggressive teams in the country, FCS, FBS on 4th down, but they'll move the chains, Lou. They won't have to worry about going for it on 4th because it's a first down for the Rams, and they're itching near the end zone.
They spot Buron at the 13. Fresh set of downs. Capaldi the snap. Handoff, Luffridge runs left, 10, 5, reaching for the end zone. Touchdown, Fordham. 7-6 as Luffridge gets on the scoreboard.
Julius Luffridge, his 7th touchdown in the last 4 games. He's been grabbing touchdowns every single game like it's taking candy from a little kid on Halloween. Does it right here again, and that was all his offensive line. David Evbomenya and Duke Leonard on that left side, sealing off the edge, giving him all the room in the world to walk into the end zone for that touchdown. Not before he broke a tackle, of course, just because that's what Julius Luffridge does on pretty much every single rushing attempt.
13-yard touchdown for Julius Luffridge. He's got 7 on the season. And Bennett Henderson, extra point. Snap is good. Kick is good. All even at 7. 9:49 left to play in the third quarter. And Evan, that is definitively Fordham's best drive of the game. No dud, ends in a touchdown. And guess what? Right in the middle of it, Julius Luffridge. But Jack Capaldi also got the passing game going.
And it started with Capaldi getting the short game going. He found Ricky Gonzalez in secure, gain 5 yards, stay on schedule situations 3 different times in that drive. The coaching staff, offensive coordinator Artie Aselto were really helping him out, allowing him to get comfortable now that it's the second half, almost a new game in terms of the team that's losing when you get into the second half. So Capaldi doing a good job of improving on a poor end of the first half, coming out, putting a touchdown on the board with his offense and Julius Luffridge to start the second.
After first 3 games, Luffridge was held out of the end zone. Well, now his last 5, he's got 7 touchdowns to show for it. The most recent, a 13-yard touchdown. He took contact there at the 5-yard line, but the way he's running today, it didn't seem to matter.
Doesn't matter at all. You can pretty much guarantee Julius Luffridge is going to run through, around, skip by a first tackler, whoever it is, wherever he is on the football field.
Bennett Henderson for the ensuing kickoff, all tied at 7, 9:49 left in the third. Henderson's kick travels to the end zone, a touchback. Colgate takes over at the 25. For the first time, it's about midway through the second quarter. This is a tie ball game. Most of this game was a dead 0-0 tie. Now we've got a 7-7 tie, but feeling a little bit better about it because Fordham seems to have gotten the offense going. When you look at how well the defense has been playing, you start to feel okay.
Especially if you can score points on offense, like you're saying, Lou. This defense has been in a great spot all day long, only giving up 7 points in that first half. So if the offense can do their part as well, should be the first Fordham win out here on Moglia Stadium.
Sterney hands off Maldonado, running right, caught at the legs by Matt Jaworski, and he swings his arm in celebration. No gain for Maldonado.
Celebrating his 15th tackle for loss on the season. That leads the Patriot League by a lot. This guy basically lives in other teams' backfields.
Matt Jaworski has been a force all season long. Second down and 10, 9.5 to play. James Conway up to 422 tackles this year, or in his career. Maldonado, the reception out of the backfield, takes it past the 30-yard line, out of bounds, shy of the first down.
Maldonado, a back that can certainly get it done in the receiving game. Have to make sure he's accounted for on the defensive side. His 17th reception now on the season, putting him over 90 yards receiving.
Third down and 3. Fordham has forced their fair share of 3-and-outs today. A lot of motion on the Colgate side. Sterney in the gun, Maldonado to his right. Sterney runs right, met quickly, a yard ahead of the line of scrimmage, burrows forward and picks up the first. Relentless running by Jake Sterney. Fordham has the football. It's in the hands of Matt Jaworski. It seems like the referee's saying Sterney was down.
All of the referees pointing in the Colgate direction, signifying that was a first down. It's going to be Colgate ball still, but Matt Jaworski, like you said, running to the Fordham sideline with the ball in his hands, letting the referees know, I have it. But it seems that Sterney was down on that play, and the Raiders will pick up a big first down.
4-yard rush for the sophomore quarterback, Jake Sterney. Fresh set of downs at the 36. 8 minutes left to play. Play action, Sterney throws over the middle, nearly intercepted. Jackson Barletta diving over the middle to knock it away from Winston Moore.
And Niall Perkins looking at his friend Jackson Barletta in disbelief that he didn't catch that ball. Not everybody's as athletic as you, Niall Perkins, can just go around the football field diving, getting up and re-diving to catch interceptions, but that's definitely one that Jackson Barletta wishes he had back when looking at film.
Niall Perkins, 2 first-half interceptions. He leads the FCS with 5. Barletta unable to come up with one there. Sterney and empty. Fakes the toss to Winston Moore, takes it up the middle himself, gets up to the 40-yard line, a gain of 5 as Sterney rushes up the gut.
Sterney with a lot of good rushing attempts in today's game, a lot of surprise rushing attempts where you think the ball might go outside to Saunders, where you think the ball might go up the middle to Maldonado. because you don't expect Sterney to run it, and he ends up taking it himself. A lot of times for a first down today, he'll set up a third and manageable.
A 3rd down and 5, 7.5 to play. Our game knotted at 7s. 2 receivers either side. Sterney back to throw. Fakes. Now throws. He's got it. Swanson over the middle into Fordham territory. Finally brought down at the 25-yard line by Boogie Owens. But Reed Swanson flipping the field.
Beautiful play by Jake Sterney right there. Textbook as a quarterback. He sees the pressure. He feels it. He knows it's going to take Reed Swanson another second or two to get open on his route. Takes a big hit from a defender. Still able to be tough enough to lay the ball out there and pick up a first down.
Colgate moving quickly. Sterney off to run again. Wide open space up the middle. 15, 10, 5. Touchdown. Jake Sterney, 27-yard rushing touchdown. And Colgate answers right back. Ahead 13-7 with 6:46 to play.
Jake Sterney, we mentioned he's been getting it done in moments that the defense doesn't expect it with his legs. That time, maybe the biggest, somewhat of a QB draw. Looked like he knew he was going to tuck the ball and run with it the entirety of that play. Gets in for his first rushing touchdown on the season.
Colgate, the swinging gate as they set up their extra point. 13-7, we await the kick from Luke Vogler. Colgate, quick response. They drive right down the field, and Jake Sterney, using his legs on that drive, picks up a first down, gets the touchdown. Vogler's extra point through the uprights. Colgate back up by 7, a 14-7 lead.
In a game where it was all defensive to start out, was 0-0 going into the second quarter. We've now seen back-to-back touchdown drives from both offenses.
Colgate 14, Fordham 7. 6:46 left to play in the third. You're listening to Fordham Football on WFUV Sports.
Hey guys, Grace McCarran here with Jack Warner.
And we're 2 of your hosts for Nosebleeds, WFUV's one and only baseball podcast.
We'll keep you in the loop on all tri-state news with the Yankees and Mets,
as well as the biggest headlines from around the MLB.
Catch weekly episodes of Nosebleeds on Spotify, Apple Music, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Take a trip around the bases with Nosebleeds on WFUV Sports.
Orlando, Evan Harkin, Week 10 in the Patriot League. Jake Sterney's 27-yard rushing touchdown gives Colgate a 14-7 lead here halfway through the third. And with that, we bring in the third member of our broadcast booth, Annabelle Watson. Annabelle, what do you see?
Hey Lou, the Rams definitely still have a great crowd behind them in the second half. After the Julius Luffridge touchdown, the sidelines threw up their hands in the air, seemingly in relief that this offense got going. As I mentioned earlier, there seems to be so much support amongst this quarterback group. Trip Hawley found Capaldi on the sidelines and gave him kudos after that TD. But yet again, the energy down here has been so up and down with that Colgate touchdown just now. So we'll have to see if Fordham can answer. Back to you guys.
Well, it's worth noting that it feels like it's been so hard for Fordham to stack positive plays, positive sequences, both just respectively, offensively and defensively, but then when you put them together, this defense has been so strong really throughout the entirety of the game. Finally, the offense gets going, and the defense maybe has its worst drive of the day.
And this crowd was so surprised, rightfully so, for that offense, because we haven't seen the Fordham offense look like that, look like they're a step ahead of the opposing team's defense. They usually look like they're a step behind. That time, Artie Aselta in the booth doing a great job of making it easier on his struggling QB, allowing him to get three actually easy 5-yard routes to move down the field. And then when they send the pressure, they send Matt Buron right behind the pressure coming. Easy slant route. Julius Luffridge gets in for the touchdown.
Kickoff from Vogler. Reed fields at the 10-yard line. Takes it over the middle. Angling left. Past the 30-yard line. Tripped up around the 33-34. Spot him on the 31. Either way, a nice return by KJ Reed, who had trouble seeing that ball at first in the sun.
And you can see the reason this coaching staff has so much confidence, so much faith in KJ Reed becoming a high-impact player in next season or two now as a sophomore, because the way he returns the ball is a lot different than we've seen anybody else on this Fordham team return kicks, just slices through holes, has a different gear of speed than the rest of the players.
The sophomore Jacob Rodriguez in the backfield for this first play. Gets the handoff, chops the feet, patiently waits, nowhere to go. Swallowed up, no gain on just his third carry, or his second carry of the day.
Rodriguez looking like a back that hasn't really been a factor in this game so far, is a little bit rusty from not really playing this season. Couldn't find the hole there.
Rams trailing by 7, 6:15 to go in the third. Ball on their own 32-yard line, 2nd and 10. Handoff Rodriguez, running right. Spun down at the 35-yard line, call that a gain of 3. Oh, extracurriculars here. The helmet of Mekhi Felton is on the turf, and some pushing and shoving between these two sides.
The referees will let it go. No flags fly or anything, but definitely a little pushing from more the Colgate side, running over to defend their player as they see Mekhi Felton's helmet tumble across the turf.
3rd and 7. Julius Luffridge, 114 yards on the day, joins the backfield to the left of Capaldi. 2 receivers on either side. Clock ticks under 6 minutes. Capaldi looks left, throws over the middle. Noden Tracy, first down, knifes up past the 45-yard line, brought down at the 47.
There's Tracy again. It seems like he hasn't had the season we've been expecting him to, and then in these last 2 games, Lehigh and then now today, he just makes big plays in big scenarios. You say, oh, there's Noden Tracy. He's supposed to be really good. Now we're seeing why.
Fresh set of downs from the Fordham 47 right around midfield. Tracy lined up on the far left side. Play action. Capaldi brought down 40-yard line. 7th sack of the day for Colgate. And that's Andrew Taddeo joining the mix once again.
Taddeo with his 2nd sack out here today, 2nd tackle for loss. He's been all over that backfield, causing harm on whichever quarterback it is back there for the Rams.
Loss of 6, 2nd and 16. The clock ticks under 5 minutes on the third quarter. Capaldi back to throw, looks left, throws left, this time knocked away. Wanted Noden Tracy. An excellent deflection on that far side by the sophomore Tymir Wynn.
Tymir Wynn was giving Ricky Gonzalez, giving Fordham receivers a lot of room to work on that last drive, and it hurt the Raider defense. Defensive coaches getting in his ear, him making improvements as he comes up and makes a good play on a short route.
3rd and 16 from the Fordham 41. Capaldi the clap, gets the snap. Looking deep, steps up. Facing pressure, brought down again, 35-yard line, and looks like the ball is out. Colgate says they have it, the refs agree. Strip sack, Fordham turns it over once again, and Colgate will take over in Fordham territory.
Well, that's that dangerous front 7 from the Colgate Raider defense. Christian Sweeney, that time the culprit, as it's been him, Kozlowski, and Brady Hawk, the 3 big linebackers causing mayhem all day for this Fordham offense. He gets in that backfield. Jack Capaldi pump fakes, and that's all the time he needs to slap the football out of his hands.
2 turnovers for Capaldi, the interception at the end of the first half. And now here with 4:40 left in the third quarter, puts the ball on the ground as he's sacked on back-to-back plays. A Fordham O-line that had improved has allowed 8 sacks through just under 3 quarters. Now it looks like they're going to review this one and see if in fact Capaldi fumbled the ball before he was down. Everyone on the field certainly seemed to think so, and you didn't get a ton of pushback from the Rams.
And a major call here from the referees. Game deciding right now for this call, because if the Fordham Rams get the ball back, it'll be 3rd and very long, 3rd and a little bit over 20 it should be, but that will give them the opportunity to punt the ball and make it a lot harder for the Colgate Raiders to go down and score points, whereas right now with the fumble standing as a fumble, they're heading in the right direction for them on the Fordham 44-yard line.
The Rams have lost 41 yards on their 8 sacks allowed today, and this is one of the components of a struggling Fordham offense. It's not just the lack of time to pass the ball down the field in past games, the lack of rushing lanes. It's the fact that on each drive, you can count on this offense losing yardage on a sack.
Right, that puts you behind the chains, puts you behind schedule, and then you have to complete deep passes. That is absolutely not what Fordham wants to do. They have quarterbacks that have been struggling all season long, an offensive line that's been struggling. Their team is not built right now to stand in the pocket and try to throw the ball deep. So to counter that, you have to not make mistakes and stay on schedule so you can hand the ball off to Julius Luffridge to move downfield instead of asking your quarterbacks to do it all.
Call stands. Let's highlight James Conway. In the middle of this defense, 7 tackles, 1 shy of tying Ryan Greenhagen for the Fordham record and second all-time in the Patriot League. 4:40 left in the third. The give to Maldonado, takes it wide, out of bounds at the line of scrimmage. So no gain.
Maldonado couldn't really find anything there, stretching the run all the way to the sideline before stepping out after no gain. Good pursuit from the Fordham defense.
Second down and 10. Colgate up 14-7. A receiving touchdown from Reed Swanson. A rushing touchdown from the quarterback, Jake Sterney. 4:10 to go in the third. Colgate looking to add to a 7-point lead. Here's the snap. The toss to Maldonado. Running right. Hurdles the defender. Goes out of bounds. Now he jumped right over Alex Kemper. He'll be shy of the first, but he picks up a solid gain.
Same play there, very different result. Both halfback stretches to the right side, attempting to get that sideline and work upfield. Maldonado couldn't find the sideline, was forced out of bounds for no gain on the first play. On the second play, gets a big chunk of 6 yards.
3rd and 5. Fordham will bring out an extra defensive back in the freshman Terrence Jones II. 3rd and 5, 3.5 to play in the third. Sterney has 3 receivers to his left, the running back Maldonado to his right. Fordham stacking the line. Snap, back to throw. Sterney fires incomplete. A bit low for Winston Moore in the flat. And James Conway, Niall Perkins in coverage.
Who else but Niall Perkins right around a football that doesn't get completed from a quarterback to a receiver. That's all he does. 10 pass breakups on the year right now. That won't count as a breakup, but he was the reason that pass wasn't completed.
4th down and 5. 3:17 left in the third quarter. Stan DeCoste going to keep the offense out here. Colgate at 1-1, looking to keep their Patriot League hopes alive. Before we can, whistles, timeout by Colgate. This is a massive decision here, Evan. Probably out of the range of Luke Vogler, or perhaps not. This would be a 49-yard field goal. He's kicked a 50-yarder in his career. He's got a long of 51, so you could ponder setting out Vogler for the field goal. But if you want to play it aggressive, you keep the offense out here. I'd say the flip side is Fordham's look pretty solid defensively.
It seems like this offensive unit for Colgate, seeing that maybe they're moving the ball decently well, although they really haven't so far this drive against the Rams or so far today. So maybe thinking that they can go out there, if they make this a 21-score game for them, that they don't think the Fordham offense that struggled can catch up and score 21 points on the other side. So might be a chance for their offense to really put them up and give their defense some room to work.
Patrick Kramer, the long snapper, was practicing his field goal snap, but they send the offense back out there. 4th down and 5, 3:17 left in the third. Colgate leading by 7. Ball spotted at the Fordham 32. Stearney in the gun, 3 receivers to his left. Here's the snap. Looking middle, throws over the middle. It's incomplete. Threw it behind his receiver, Trayvon Saunders. Fordham forces a turnover on downs.
And that time, Sterney just unable to find an open Saunders. Saunders working against a linebacker and Mike Courtney. That's a favorable matchup for Colgate. He gets open, and Jake Sterney just throws the ball 2 or 3 yards behind him. So a big opportunity for here for Fordham as they head the other direction.
No tackles on that drive for James Conway, but more importantly, the Rams force a turnover on downs. They get the offense back out there. Still a 1-score game, trailing by 7.
Huge for this Fordham team to be able to flip possession and take the ball back heading in the other way.
Capaldi in the gun, 1st and 10 from his own 32. Play fake. No, it's the handoff to Luffridge. Picks up the first down, carrying a defender past the 40. Finally brought down by 3 different defenders at the 43-yard line. That's a beautiful play fake by Capaldi. and strong running by Luffridge.
And you hear the crowd very happy about that. That's all they want to see is Julius Luffridge picking up big first down after big first down as he checks himself out of the game. Maybe a little tired, took a big hit there. Jack Kaiser will come in.
He was slow to get up there, looked to be in a little bit of pain. So it's Jack Kaiser that joins the backfield, 1st and 10 from the 43 after the 11-yard pickup by Luffridge. Capaldi, 3 receivers to his left. 2.5 to play here in the third. 14-7 Colgate leads. Handoff, Kaiser running left. This time no space. Trying to push the pile, but only able to get back to the line of scrimmage.
Kaiser, 15 carries on the season. Not too much time in the backfield. A big special team guy, though. 3 tackles on special teams units. So he's been out there on the field as he comes off, and Luffridge will take his spot as the running back.
Luffridge back out there after taking a play off. 125 yards on the day, averaging 6.9 per carry. Clock ticks under 2 minutes on the third quarter. Capaldi back to throw, looking right, throws right. Matt Buron wide open, past midfield, has the first down. He trucks into a defender and moves the chains.
Good play call there from Artie Acelta up in the booth, and this Fordham offense able to diagnose the perfect route concept that would counter for Colgate's defense as there's nobody around Matt Buron against a zone coverage defensive look.
1:25 left in the third quarter. Fordham now in Colgate territory at the 46. Buron across in motion right to left. Handoff Luffridge. No, it's the keeper by Capaldi. Takes it on the left side, curls up, and picks up 3.
That read option to play that this Fordham offense really loves to run. Doesn't matter if it's Capaldi or Trip Holly in there. And Capaldi likes to keep the ball himself, too. Not afraid to get around the edge and mix it up with those linebackers.
A big feature in the playbook earlier this season. Felt like they phased it out in the first half of this game. They break it out for the first time here. 2nd and 7, 50 seconds left in the third. Capaldi, handoff Luffridge, takes it up the middle. Contact at the legs, he dives forward. Able to get up to the 41-yard line to set up 3rd down and 5.
So explosive, Julius Luffridge. Jack Capaldi throws a little pump fake even after he hands the ball off to deceive the linebackers and DBs a little bit. And by the time your eyes can get back to Julius Luffridge and where he is, he's already 4 or 5 yards downfield.
20 seconds and ticking. Time for one last play here in the third quarter. Colgate 14, Fordham 7. Capaldi keeps it on the left side. First down in space. Past the 30, past the 20, past the 10, into the end zone. Touchdown Fordham. A 41-yard touchdown for Jack Capaldi. And the Rams are back within 1, 14-13, with 5 seconds left in the third.
Trip Holly, known as the quarterback that gets it done with his feet on this team, but Jack Capaldi is no stranger to running with the football in his hands. 45 rushing attempts, 100 rush yards coming into this game. That's bumped up even more now, and he puts his 2nd rushing touchdown on the season on the board, in a big spot here to tie this one up against Colgate as time ticks off in the third quarter.
That is a season-long carry of 41 yards, and it gives Fordham a chance to tie this game on the extra point. The freshman Bennett Henderson snapped the spot, kicks on its way, and it's good. Tie game 14-14, the final 5 seconds of the third quarter, and a Fordham offense that was shut out in the first half has come back to life. And Jack Capaldi, the touchdown on the read option.
And there's the read option that Jack Capaldi loves. Scored a touchdown on a big 4th down against Lafayette in a similar situation. Just a little bit, yes, less yardage for that touchdown. But you mentioned the read option to play Fordham loves that we haven't seen a lot of today. There was a massive read option on a 4th down against Holy Cross where Jack Capaldi kept the ball, and there was a lot of speculation that he should have handed the ball off in that scenario, and the Rams could have won this game. He didn't make the wrong read there, knew he had to keep the ball, had all the confidence in the world in himself running the football, even after a big moment like that in the past.
Made the right read, also then made a play happen in open space. He was getting chased down along the numbers and was able to weave through, find the openings, and finds the end zone. And Jack Capaldi, who was benched last week in the second half for freshman Trip Holly, and Holly made his first career start. Capaldi comes back in the second quarter, and now he's brought Fordham back even here in the third.
You could see some serious speed from Capaldi there. It didn't look like a quarterback running with the football. Looked like a running back or a wide receiver the way he was running by defenders who thought they had an angle on a quarterback that is not known for being super athletic.
Kick away from Bennett Henderson, end over end, fielded by Moore at the far side too. Takes it up the middle, tries to break it wide. 20, 25, here's a flag, 30-yard line and out of bounds. Forced out by Bennett Henderson himself. A little frustration from Bennett Henderson, but we'll see what the flag is.
Winston Moore, a pretty good returner, one of the best in the Patriot League, so you have to account for him over there. A long of 52, had a 35-yard return last week against Merrimack, but he shows you why they put him back there right there, getting around a lot of defenders. And D. Rice, a big special teams player for this Fordham unit on pretty much every special team. The reason that flag was thrown, the referee's going to call holding here on Colgate and help out this Fordham defense.
That takes us to the end of the third quarter. On one of the last plays of the third quarter, Jack Capaldi, a 41-yard rushing touchdown. The Rams have tied this game 14-14 with 1 quarter left. So don't go anywhere. Lou Orlando, Evan Harkin, and we send it back to the Rose Hill Studios, Lydia Priner, with the one-on-one scoreboard update.
The one-on-one scoreboard.
Quiet night here in the Tri-State with all the local NBA and NHL teams having the night off. There's plenty of action on the gridiron to make up for that. We have had another lead change. Miami now leads Duke 46-31. That one is in the final of quarter of play. Ohio State is in victory formation, so it looks like they will upset the Nittany Lions, with the Buckeyes taking that one 20-13. Within the hour, Florida at Georgia and Oregon at Michigan are set to kick off 2 big games in the college football slate there. Later tonight, the Aggies are set to travel to South Carolina to play the Gamecocks. Kickoff is 7:30. Number 18 ranked Pittsburgh heads to Dallas to face off against number 20 SMU. One of those will come out with their first loss in conference play. That one is set for 8 p.m. kickoff. And for the final Patriot League update, Lehigh is up 36-0 over the Hoyas in the fourth, and Lafayette leads 14-7 against Bucknell, with the third just wrapping up. And don't forget about our neighbors up north, with the CFL playoffs kicking off shortly in Toronto as they host Ottawa. With your one-on-one scoreboard updates, I'm Lydia Priner.
And thank you, Lydia. You can catch Lydia with Madi Dembele on the one-on-one halftime report, or the one-on-one postgame report at the end of the game. 1 quarter left to play, and the Rams have a chance to come away with their first win of the season, all tied up at 14. Evan, this is anyone's game. We've seen Fordham in late-game situations, whether it be Stony Brook, Lafayette at home, Holy Cross on the road, unable to come up with wins in those games down the stretch due to critical errors. They need to play their best football and their cleanest football for the next 15 minutes.
Absolutely. For the Fordham Rams, even dating back to last season, Lou, it came to tying it all together and turning those good stats throughout the entire game into actual W's in the win column. If you take it back to 2023, Fordham led the Patriot League in scoring offense and defense, but was not up there in the Patriot League leaders in the win-loss column, and that comes down to the fourth quarter. Like you said, Lou, coaching, timely timeouts, timely plays by the players on the field, all factors in turning a loss into a win, something Fordham hasn't been able to do all season, but also a scenario where they haven't been in pretty much all season, where that's possible here in the fourth quarter as they sit tied with league foe Colgate.
And Fordham has a chance to play spoiler here in the Patriot League at 0-3. Their Patriot League hopes are out the window. They are done. They are dead in the water. Holy Cross is 3-0. It looks like they're going to storm their way to yet another Patriot League title, but other teams still have hope. Every other team in the Patriot League has at least one loss. We've never seen anyone in the Patriot League win a title with more than one loss, so Fordham a win here could end Colgate's season. Colgate, the first play from the 15-yard line. Quick throw near side, brought in at the 20-yard line.
Good gain there for this Colgate offense, especially after you get scored on. You want to go out there and have a first positive play, something that keeps you ahead of the chains, gets you on schedule to move down the football field. That's what they did just there, setting up a 2nd and 4.
Jariah Sawyer, the 6-yard reception, the first of the ball game. Colgate once again facing a tie ball game. The last time that Fordham scored, Colgate responded immediately with a Jake Sterney touchdown. Handoff, Casamajor running right, shoves a defender to the ground. Kemper comes in to help and finishes off the tackle. It'll be a 2-yard gain, but Casamajor, a strong stiff arm to the ground.
Casamajor, his 4th rushing attempt of the game right now, sitting around 10 yards after that one. But a big boy stiff arm, like you said, throwing defenders off of him as he trumbles forward to set up a 3rd and short.
Jake Sterney facing 3rd and 2. This is the freshman Alex Sitkowski, the 4th-string quarterback, in for this play. 3rd down and 2. A flag. I'm not sure where the ball went, Evan. It did not get snapped back to Sitkowski. A flag immediately on the play. What did you see?
That's one of those plays where it's a false start on everybody but the center. Basically, only the center is the one not knowing the right cadence because everybody else has an idea that the ball was supposed to be snapped on, let's say, the first hut, for example. Then you see everybody move and the ball not be snapped. So the center there for Colgate's offense. Bartle Gashi is the culprit for why that play didn't work out.
Bartle Gashi, a Phil Steele FCS All-American in the preseason. The false start makes it 3rd and 7. 13-19 left in the game. And Sterney back in the gun. Back to throw, facing pressure, throws, brought in by Saunders, has the 1st down, and takes it wide, 30, 35, 40, across midfield, tries to juke back in. Jones knocks him out of bounds. Biggest reception of the game for Trayvon Saunders. Knew you weren't going to keep him quiet all day.
And Saunders, I mentioned, he's not one of those receivers that you really just throw him the ball to get him in space because he's so good with the ball in his hands. That time proving me wrong, showing me that that's also in his arsenal as he does his celebration for the 1st down, and all of his teammates do it back to him. They've seen that before.
Colgate at the Fordham 48. 12:50 to go. The handoff, Casamajor takes it left. He's picked up and brought down. Looked like Courtney able to get hats to the football.
The Fordham Rams swarming to the football that time. What they're going to have to do to stall out this Raider offense now that they've passed midfield. A good job forcing a poor run on a 1st down there.
Barletta Courtney credited with the tackle. Gain of 2. 12:20 left in the 4th. All knotted up at 14. Colgate looking to take the lead back. Snap. Handoff, Maldonado spinning but going nowhere. Oh, that's a nice stop by Claudie Robinson off the edge. And that will go a loss of 1. Excellent play by the Fordham D-line.
Claudie Robinson, 4 tackles last game. Coach Conlon mentioned he did a good job of destroying that line of scrimmage, kind of what you want a nose tackle to do. He's 320 pounds. Go out there and make 2 people have to block you. Did more than just that on that play, making the play in the backfield and bear crawling away afterwards.
3rd down and 9, 11:35 left in the game. Colgate looking for a 1st down to keep this drive alive. Sterney looking right, steps up, scrambles and runs. Evades James Conway, can't evade Jackson Barletta. Barletta brings him down at the 43. Well shy of the 1st down marker. Now they're in Fordham territory. Curious how aggressive they'll play. It looks like the offense heading out.
They'll send Sterney off the field and send that kicking unit back onto the field. This is going to be a deep one here, Lou. A game-changing kick here.
Shelby Pruitt will send out their punting unit.
Too deep.
Too deep at the 43-yard line. That would have been just on the edge of 60 yards there. Pruitt instead stands at his own 40, facing pressure. Took some time with that. Fordham, not one of their strongest rushes of the day. A flag comes from the far side judge. Pruitt's kick is a touchback, but we'll have to address the dirty laundry.
Flag seems to be in the area of after the punt, so the punt should still stand. Shouldn't be one of those roughing, anything like that that would negate the down.
They've got Fordham for holding on that return. So what would have been a touchback instead has Fordham backed up in their own zone. But ultimately all that matters, they're getting the football back. It's a tie game, and they've got a chance to seize the lead.
a chance to take the lead, and they've been playing better offense, an offense that we really haven't seen except for small spurts throughout the season here in the second half, scoring 14 points pretty much all in the third quarter as the fourth just started. They scored in the final seconds of that third quarter, so pretty much 14 just in one quarter. We'll see if they can replicate that here in the fourth, help out that defense that's helped them all season long.
An important change in the stat line. The tackle on Casa Major, which was initially credited to Mike Courtney and Jackson Barletta, now credited to Mike Courtney and James Conway. James Conway, 425 tackles in his Fordham career. That ties outside linebackers coach Ryan Greenhagen. James Conway is a special type of talent. He's going to shatter this record, but awesome to see him tie a player he played with in his freshman season.
So cool to see James Conway, of all people, break this record, because everybody on the Fordham football team, coaching staff, other players, pretty much everybody in the Patriot League will tell you this is one of the most focused, hard-working football players they've ever seen in the Patriot League. I've had the opportunity to be teammates with James Conway, and they are telling the truth. This guy eats, sleeps, wakes up, and goes to bed Fordham football. So it's good to see someone who lives that way have the rewards for the execution that's come out of the work he's put in.
James Conway has been an impact player for Fordham football ever since his freshman season. As a freshman, second team All-Patriot League, he led the conference with 130 tackles. That was a freshman record and the third most all-time in a single season by a Fordham Ram. He followed that up last season with 129 tackles, or he followed it up in 2022 with 127 tackles, also led the conference, and then last year led the conference again, 129 tackles. He's just a beast, he's a monster, he's a freak of nature. Whatever adjective you want to use sums up James Conway.
And he's the type of player that could definitely be in the FBS right now. We'll be interested to see if he stays with the Fordham Rams going into next season. He is expected to have another season here at the college level, so we'll see if he stays here at home at Moglia Stadium.
Rams start this drive from their own 10-yard line. Capaldi play action, finds Ricky Gonzalez on the curl route around the 20-yard line. We'll see if that's enough to move the chains.
Well, Ricky Gonzalez curl route when he's lined up against Tymir Wynn has been absolutely money today. 4 for 4. Been a secure part of this Fordham offense.
9-yard reception, so it's second down and 1, 10.5 to play in the game. Snap, handoff, Luffridge takes it up the gut, takes the contact from Kozlowski, and picks up the first down with a gain of 5.
Kozlowski grabbing at his shin as his teammates help him to his feet. He looks like he'll be okay. That's big for this Raider defense. He's been an absolute beast all season and a beast here today. Leads the Patriot League in tackles.
Game high 13 tackles for Kozlowski, doing what he does. First and 10 from the 23. Clock ticks under 10 minutes. Capaldi picks up the snap from the ground and fires a completion to Jeff Ciccio. Around the 30-yard line, they'll say the 29. 6-yard reception, a play that almost started in disaster, ends up a positive 6-yard gain.
Maybe the luckiest player for Fordham all day long. Capaldi able to pick up a snap that was rolling on the turf, and then the receivers run wrong routes. They're both in the exact same spot, but they're still able to come away with a completion and a 5-yard gain.
Second down and 4, 9:25 to play here in the fourth quarter. All tied at 14. Handoff, Jacob Rodriguez off left tackle, burst past the first down. Spun down at the 36-yard line. Third carry of the day for the sophomore.
And there you see the vision we saw last year from Jacob Rodriguez. Maybe the second best vision behind Luffridge in this backfield right now. Able to work his way in and out of holes for a first down.
Averaged 5.1 yards per attempt as a freshman last season. Making his sophomore debut after missing majority of the start of the season with an injury. Handoff, Rodriguez running right, turns up, has space into midfield, brought down right at the 50-yard line. The first down, a 14-yard gain, and Jacob Rodriguez providing a change of pace.
Rodriguez being that number 2 in the 1-2 punch that's usually Julius Luffridge, and Ricky Parks, Utah transfer, high recruit at a high school. Ricky Parks sidelined right now. He's undressed, so Jacob Rodriguez doing a great job of filling his cleats.
First and 10 from the 50. Fordham looking to take the lead. It's tied at 14 right now. 8:15 left to play. Capaldi, quick throw far side. That's Cole Thornton, shy of the 45. That's a humble gain Call it a 5-yard gain. Forward progress at the 45.
And who's the Colgate corner over there again for a Fordham 5-yard reception? It's Tymir Wynn. Seems all game long it can be money if you're just going to go and get 5 yards against Tymir Wynn. Maybe having to step up a little bit to help out this Colgate defense, not let Fordham get those underneath throws all game long.
Fordham Rams taking what the defense gives them. 2nd down and 5, 7:45 to play. Handoff Luffridge, off left tackle, has the first down, bounces off a defender and stumbles forward for 2 more.
When Julius Luffridge bounces off a defender, it looks like 2 Chevy pickup trucks just ran into each other right there. Forceful running right there from Julius Luffridge, keeping those legs churning, picking up another Rams first down on an impressive drive so far.
Luffridge 1st and 10. Luffridge picks up the first down with a strong carry. It's 1st and 10 from the 38. 7:10 to play in the 4th. Snap. Play action. Capaldi throws. Far side. Thornton past the first down. Past the 25-yard line. Forced out of bounds at the 23-yard line.
There's Cole Thornton in the downfield passing attack we've been waiting for. We've seen Capaldi look out, look left and right, get the ball out for 5 or 6 yards. Anything less than 10, haven't seen him really advance it downfield, be a true threat to this defense. He was that time.
Cole Thornton's 4th reception of the game. 6:45 to play. Fordham looking to take the lead. 1st and 10 from the Colgate 23. Handoff Luffridge, runs left, slips past a tackle. Inside the 15-yard line. Brought down a yard shy of the first down. Tell you what, Julius Luffridge taking 7, 8, 9 yards in every carry at this point.
And he's up over 138 yards right now on the game. Been dominant, but a lot of that is on Hank Perry and David Evbo-Menya. The 2 tackles on the outside are doing a fantastic job in the off-tackle run game, taking the D lineman in front of them and just throwing them into the middle of the defensive line, giving Julius room to bounce outside.
Luffridge 147 yards, 2nd down and 1. They hand it off to Luffridge again. Not a ton of space, but he's going to drive the pile forward and pick up the first. He was a yard behind the line of scrimmage with his back towards the end zone and still found a way to drive forward.
You would think Julius Luffridge has a motor attached to his backside right now, the way he was able to just power through what seemed like the entire Colgate defense by himself and drag them all forward for more yardage.
Well, he gets a much earned rest here as Jacob Rodriguez joins the backfield. 1st and 10 from the 12. Capaldi the snap. Play action, throws, left side for the end zone. Mekhi Felton goes up, makes the catch, and gets the foot in. First touchdown of the season for Mekhi Felton, and the Rams have a lead, 20-14, with 5 minutes to play.
No one you'd rather see catch that touchdown than Mr. Touchdowns last year, Mekhi Felton. His 8 were tied for 2nd in the Patriot League this year. Hadn't had a receiving touchdown all season long until today. Gets both feet down in the corner of the end zone. It was acrobatic, it was tough, it was athletic. It was 6 points in a very big moment for the Fordham Rams here in the 4th quarter.
Evan, we're not dreaming. The Fordham Rams have a lead. Anderson on for the extra point. They have a lead with 5 minutes left in the 4th quarter. Looking for their first win of the season and looking to do it in front of a home crowd. Henderson for the extra point. Snap the spot. The kick is on its way. It goes off the post and no good. A 6-point lead for the Rams, and Evan, you feel all good with the momentum. Mekhi Felton gets the touchdown. Maybe now you get a little nervous. Only a 6-point lead. A Colgate touchdown would give them the lead, and for Bennett Henderson, that is his first missed extra point all season long. He has been perfect until then.
Felt like a fantasy, like you mentioned, Lou, that the Fordham Rams were up in this game in the 4th quarter. That's only happened in 1 or 2 games so far this season. Now in this game, and then Bennett Henderson, like you said, we got taken back to reality. The Rams gonna ram. That's what they did just there, hitting the field goal post in the most crucial extra point of the season, probably the one he had to make the most. Now it's only a 6-point game.
Fordham 20, Colgate 14. Let's bring in the 3rd member of our broadcast team, Annabelle Watson, along the sidelines. What's up, Annabelle?
That Jack Capaldi touchdown really pumped the whole sideline up. Capaldi was surrounded by his teammates, laughing and smiling. Tight end Jeff Sissio hyped up the bench to keep the momentum from that touchdown going, and that they did easily the best drive of the Fordham Rams season on that Mekhi Felton touchdown to put them ahead. Definitely some nerves, as you guys mentioned, with that missed field goal, but they hope to lock down this defense and get their first win. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Annabelle. 5:23 left in the fourth quarter. The Fordham Rams looking to close out their first victory of the season and do so against a Patriot League foe. The 12-yard touchdown from Mekhi Felton has given the Rams the lead, but the freshman Bennett Henderson, his kick goes off the left post. So the Rams only lead by 6, and it's only fitting, Evan, that they can't breathe too comfortably.
Right, totally fitting, but what a play there from Jack Capaldi. Mekhi Felton with an excellent acrobatic catch at the end of it, but there was really only one spot that he could have went up and got the ball, did not have a ton of separation on that play. And Jack Capaldi, a guy who gets criticized for his accuracy downfield all the time, showing the haters that he can do it there on that play.
Capaldi started this game 1 of 5. Entered in the second quarter and went 1 of 5 in the first half. He is 11 of 12 in the second half. On the day, 12 of 17, 117 yards, 70.6% completion rate. Evan, that one incompletion in the second half is an interception.
Right, and at one point, Jack Capaldi going into halftime had a -3 QBR, Lou, to show how much better he's been playing coming out of that tunnel right there at halftime. He now is on 136 QBR. If you just looked at that, you would think he played an amazing game, as he really has in this second half.
Here's the kick away from Henderson. Spinning sidewise, fielded by Winston on the near side numbers, 15. And then at the 15-yard line, brought down at the 17. Defense getting hyped. A couple of freshmen, Jalen Dawson, Drew Minnick, in for the stop, and Colgate will start this drive inside their own 20.
Drew Minnick right there with a big momentum play. The entire Fordham sideline dressed in all black, jumping up and down as he flexes at them after that one. Drew Minnick, a guy, he's a freshman that came in as a cornerback. That's his position. Was forced into a free safety role last week. Now back in the corner, that Boogie Owens is okay, but Coach Conlon said Drew's a guy on every special team we think has a tremendous future here. So a good play by a guy that's projected to have a really good future.
Colgate trails by 6. They've got 5:18 left in the game. Maldonado runs right, brought down. Nice tackle by Sam Burkle, right off the edge. And Habe picks up 1. But Fordham defensive line setting that edge on the right side. And Mike Courtney appears slow to get up.
Mike Courtney, a tough player, not someone to be laying on the ground if he physically can stand by any means. So a sore sight for these Fordham eyes right now as they see their captain on the ground, hoping he can get back up.
Mike Courtney has been integral to the Fordham defense, particularly with the injury to James Conway. We talked to head coach Joe Conlon. The plan for Conway is to play 4 games, retain his medical red shirt, but Conway was not ready for the start of the season. And Mike Courtney had to step up in that linebacker unit, and step up he has. Entered today leading the team with 60 tackles. That's tied for 4th in the Patriot League. And every time we talk to head coach Joe Conlon, feels like he says, Mike Courtney's playing his best football. He's everything you could want in a football player.
Right, says that he embodies everything you need in a football player. Number 27, he's an undersized linebacker, looks more like a defensive back at under 6 foot and under 200 pounds, but plays with the heart of a 320-pound nose tackle. Coach Conlon mentioned that he's been having a really good season as well, especially with James Conway not next to him, eating up all of those tackles. He's able to now be tied for 3rd in the Patriot League, coming into this game with 60 tackles and adding 8 more here today.
You hear the phrase dog used a lot by the kids, and that's D-A-W-G. Means a really tough kid that's going to go out and get it. Evan, you played against Mike Courtney in high school. I think he was a dog.
Absolute dog. The definition of it, the coaches here at Fordham, even the offensive coaches, were acknowledging that the first week Mike Courtney arrived on campus. There was a big play he had as a freshman in a scrimmage where he made an open field tackle on Trey Sneed, who's been a Big Ten running back at Rutgers. He was probably around 22, 23 years old at the time. Mike Courtney, a young freshman, with a beautiful tackle, and you could really see the energy, intensity, focus, and competitiveness in that one play that he's shown for the rest of the season. But you hope he's all right in that red sports medicine tent right now for Fordham.
Mike Courtney getting evaluated. a Fordham linebacker room that has enough depth to be able to get by. Obviously, they had to go games without James Conway. Jackson Barletta has stepped up. You heard in the coach's sound at the beginning of the game, Conlon thinks Barletta playing some of the best football of his career. A young freshman in Jalen Dawson, maybe a little rawer, but has the raw talent that you like in a talented young linebacker. Nick Pasquarella's gotten into the mix. But obviously the key here, James Conway, 8 tackles, looking to get one more to become the all-time leading tackler in Fordham history.
Right, Jalen Dawson might see him out on the field to replace Mike Courtney. Dawson more of an interior backer, but one of those linebackers that's been getting a lot of burnout here. There's not a lot that they throw out there on the field. We'll see Barletta and Conway out there on the field right now.
Looks like they're going to use number 0, Damaris Rice-Williams. Came in more of as a safety. Evidently, he's been switched to the linebacker room, and he takes Courtney's spot on the far side. 5 minutes left in this one. Colgate trailing 2014, 2nd down and 9. Sterney back to throw, over the middle. Saunders lit up at the 30-yard line, but picks up the first down. Bradford and Barletta combined for the tackle.
Well, a good plan there from this Raider offensive unit right there. Who do you go to in times of need? You go to your guy, number 9, Trayvon Saunders, the best receiver in the Patriot League, making this offense comfortable in a time where it's easy to be hectic now in the fourth quarter.
Fordham defense looking for one last stop, protecting a 6-point lead, 4.5 to play. Sterney throws left side. Niall Perkins makes the tackle right in front of the line of scrimmage. You can call that a 2-yard gain for the wide receiver Brady Hutchinson. Niall Perkins right over it.
That's going to be the key for the Fordham Rams on this defensive stand. Coming up and tackling, you'll see the DBs, the linebackers, sit back just a little bit because they know that they have a lead. They don't want anything over their head, but what that means is you really have to come up and tackle in order to stall out the offense.
2nd down and 8, 3:55 left to play. Maldonado runs left, shoots up, and gets to the 35-yard line. That's a gain of 4 to set up 3rd down and 4.
You can hear the bleachers rumbling right now at Moglia Stadium as Ram fans and Raider fans are here chopping their feet at these bleachers because they know this is one of the biggest plays of the game. 3rd down and 4, 3:35 and ticking on that clock. Colgate down 6, looking to pick up a huge first down.
Fordham 20, Colgate 14. Pressure from Fordham, the throw, brought in. Trayvon Saunders in front of the first down marker. Looked like a little bit of a wonky throw. Excuse me, that was Winston Moore that makes the catch and moves the chains.
Beautiful throw there by Jake Sterney in a moment where he absolutely needed to make one. It was an anticipation throw, throwing it before it needed to be because the pass rush was there.
3 minutes left to play. Sterney throws over the middle, diving grab. Winston Moore shy of midfield. Keeps getting solid yardage for these Colgate Raiders.
Well, they're right again. Matt Jaworski gets right up into Jake Sterney's face, but he does a good job of just flipping the ball out earlier than he was expecting to and getting positive yards.
Conway on the line. He'll blitz. Sterney drops the ball, picks it up, throws left side, incomplete. Panicked by the Colgate Raiders. Sterney able to recover and just takes the incompletion. Another crucial 3rd down, 3rd and 5.
Well, Colgate running as turbo, as fast as an offense as you possibly can right now. The down effect of that is it causes some panic, can cause some uncertainty and uncomfortability, and that's what we saw, which just set up another major 3rd and 5 here, where Colgate Raiders are going to have to advance the ball to keep their chances of winning this game.
3rd and 5, 2:40 left in the game. Mike Courtney back in the game. Sterney looking to throw. Pressure from Jaworski. He brings him down. The 2nd sack of the season for the preseason Defensive Player of the Year. Jaworski gets the sack. What a big stop on 3rd down for the Rams.
Matt Jaworski, dressed out in all black, absolutely fired up, barking at that Fordham sideline. That's howling back at him as they know that that was a major sack, his 2nd of the season. Should have more for how many QB hurries and TFLs he gets, but it'll force a Raider punt in a crucial moment. What a play from Matt Jaworski.
3rd down and 5, and Jaworski the sack and the loss of 9. The punt from Shelby Pruitt. The clock ticks under 2 minutes. It's fielded by Cole Thornton inside the 15. Clock stops at 1:56. This is the 2-minute timeout. Evan, a Colgate offense that was looking solid, was moving the ball down the field. He gets a 3rd and 5.
who else but Matt Jaworski, who's making a really strong case for becoming the Patriot League Defensive Player of the Year when this season's all said and done.
Doing it again as he came in this season as the preseason Defensive Player of the Year. That's what they expected from Matt Jaworski, and he's showing out and showing up. A closer, a game breaker. Those are two titles you give to really good defensive ends because that's what they can do. They can go close and finish out games when the offense needs a first down to keep their hopes of winning alive. What does Matt Jaworski do? Closes it out, closes the door, and forces his team to gain the momentum back, as we can see a Fordham sideline that's had more energy than we've seen all season long.
Well, this Fordham sideline envisioning a win for the first time this season, and it's been a long season, a long 0-8 start to the 2024 season. They are 1 minute and 56 seconds away from sealing their first win, and more importantly, getting their first conference win of the season, dealing a devastating blow to the Colgate Raiders. We talk about Matt Jaworski. Let's look at the profile. Leads the Patriot League in tackles for loss, 5th in the FCS with 13. Now he's got 2 sacks on the season, was a little slow getting off in the sack department, but leads the Patriot League with 16 quarterback hurries. He has had an unreal season despite the low sack numbers. He's been a beast all year long.
Seems to be in the backfield every single play. Where would this team be without Matt Jaworski? Already at 0-8, it's hard to imagine with how good he's been all season long. And like you said, Lou, hoping to get your first win here. That win can't contribute to a Patriot League title at this point, but it can give you a lot of pride, give you a lot of hope, excitement, all the things you want after a football game that the Fordham Rams haven't had a chance to grasp yet. And like we mentioned, you get to play a little spoiler for a Colgate team that you get to see every season. You're a rival with an in-league opponent in the Colgate Raiders, so you wouldn't mind spoiling their chances at winning the Patriot League title either.
Bucknell, Georgetown after this, and if their seasons are still intact, they're still vying for the Patriot League, Fordham can play spoiler there as well. But first looking to seal off their first win of the season. Capaldi in the gun, Luffridge to his left. Snap, handoff, Luffridge shifts by 1 tackle, falling forward and driving the pile to pick up 3. And even when it's only a gain of 2, gain of 3, you see the raw talent, the raw strength of Julius Luffridge just to get those 3 yards.
Everybody knows what the formula is for the Rams. It's get Julius Luffridge going. Coach Stan DeCoste for the Raiders said our key is going to have to be stop Luffridge. Everybody knows that. Guess what? Julius Luffridge up over 150 rushing yards today, 23, 24 attempts now on the day. That's why this Fordham offense is having its best success of the season, because he's doing what he does.
Colgate uses the first of 3 timeouts, 1 minute 48 left in this game. And for Fordham, it's a 2nd down and 7, and you get the first down. You can put knee to the turf and end this game and finally celebrate a win in 2024. But first you have to get that first down, and this is the most important snaps right now for the Colgate Raiders defense, a defense that feasts in the run game.
Julius Luffridge, 6.3 yards per carry today. That's a number you really like if you have to just go out there and get a first down. But we all know this front 7 for Colgate, the best in the Patriot League.
3 receiver tight end set, 2nd and 7, 1 minute 48. The Rams lead 20-14. Luffridge to the left of Capaldi. Snap, handoff Luffridge, runs right, taking on contact, maybe picked up 1. 2nd timeout by Colgate. They've got 1 more. And a curious decision here by the Fordham Rams now. Do you run and force Colgate to burn the last timeout, or do you throw and try and get this first down and seal the game? Fordham's backed up right now at their own 17.
Well, right now, Lou, it became a game with the timeouts. Now, if Colgate had 2 more timeouts right now, so they could stop the clock twice and then do what they want with it, throw the ball near the sideline so you can run and get out of bounds, hurry up offense, all those little things. You would think Fordham would pass here. However, Colgate only has 1 timeout, so they would have to use that 1 remaining timeout if you run the ball. That leaves them with 0 on the punt, on every play following the punt. So expect Fordham to run the ball here and really just make Colgate use that timeout, send their defense out that's been good all year, been good today, and hope that they can win you a ball game.
Now, at the collegiate level in situations like this, offensively with no timeouts, you hedge your bets on, well, the clock stops if we pick up first down, so we'll have time to get it back there. If you don't pick up first downs, the clock bleeds. 1 minute 43 left in the 4th quarter. 3rd down and 6. The Rams lead by 6. Luffridge to the right of Capaldi. Snap. Capaldi keeps it. The QB read. Takes it up to the 20-yard line. Not going to get to the first down. He stays in bounds. And this will be timeout number 3 by Stan DeCoste. 1:36 left in the game. Will Hazlitt will have to punt, and the Colgate offense will get one last chance to tie or win this game. Remember, the missed extra point by Bennett Henderson means a Colgate touchdown gives them a chance to win this game. And you get to this point, 1:36. Oh my goodness, a loss would be heartbreaking.
Well, Jack Capaldi did a great job of falling to the ground there because every defensive player on the Raiders trying to keep him up with their own bodies and run him out of bounds so the clock would stop on his own. He got very close, but the referee signals that the clock will still running. They'll use that timeout, and you're absolutely right, Lou. It becomes we don't even have a chance to come and tie this game. We have a chance to go win this game if you're the Colgate Raiders at this point, thanks to that miss from Fordham.
Perhaps no bigger punt this season for Will Hazlitt than this one right here. He stands at his own 5-yard line. Punt returner for Colgate, Brady Hutchinson, stands at his own 35. Hazlitt just barely gets the punt away. It's a good one, forces Hutchinson back, and there's a flag. Hutchinson dives at the 40-yard line. Hazlitt was interfered with on the punt, and that could seal the game, Evan.
And you can see the Fordham sideline all jumping up and down for joy. It looks like that will seal the game. It should be Fordham football. Here's what the referees have to say.
Colgate runs into the kicker. Contact with Will Hazlitt, a free first down. Look at this sideline erupt. Will Hazlitt ran full speed back to the Fordham sideline. He got them riled up. Fordham gets the first down. Colgate has no timeouts, and Fordham can do victory formation for the first time this season.
Will Hazlitt and Niall Perkins both take their helmet off at the same time and give each other a nice big warm hug on the sideline over there because they know what they just did, sealing this game as the offense will go out there for victory formation.
Jack Capaldi for the first time this season under center. 2 receivers on either side. Luffridge stands back at the 10-yard line. Capaldi to a knee. He'll have to do it a couple more times, but Evan, Fordham's first win of the season, a 2014 win, and a comeback one at that, all 20 points in the second half.
Right, coming out of the second half in a game that you're losing and then showing up, improving, and winning the game. Not a sight we usually see from Fordham. This is a team that was winning multiple games at halftime and then ended up losing that game. Not this time. They'll end up getting their first win on the season here at Moglia Stadium.
And Evan, you're in contact with a lot of your former teammates. You know a lot of the major players on this team, and you know how much of a toll this season has taken on them. Awesome to see them finally celebrate a victory.
But a huge smile on my face to see guys like Mike Courtney, Niall Perkins, Cole Thornton all take off their helmet finally with a look of satisfaction rather than a look of what went wrong, what do I have to fix for next game. A good feeling for players that have worked very hard since the beginning of summer this year for this outcome.
One last snap. Capaldi takes the knee, and that'll do it. Fordham gets their first win of the season, a 2014 win over Colgate. And you can throw out the year 1999. They're not going to be winless today.
Not today. They said they're going to go out there and get a W for Halloween, dressing up as a team that wins games out here as the Fordham Rams. But today, that's who they are. That's their identity. And they went out there and deserved it, especially in that second half.
Evan, it's Halloween weekend. There is going to be some partying tonight all throughout the Fordham community, and Fordham football can take part in that partying. They earned it with a win, a 6-point win over Colgate. And let's talk about how they did it. 3 touchdowns in the second half. It started with Luffridge, the 13-yard touchdown. Jack Capaldi, a 41-yard rushing touchdown to tie the game. And the game winner, Mekhi Felton, 12-yard receiving touchdown, the first of his season. What a second-half effort by the Rams, led by Jack Capaldi, who did not start this game.
Well, you mentioned it's Halloween. There will be some parties tonight. Maybe expect to see some Niall Perkins and Julius Luffridge costumes if you're going out around here at Fordham, because those were the 2 stars of the game on each side of the ball. What do you have to do on defense? Take the ball away, take it out of the offense's hands. Niall Perkins did that twice with 2 interceptions in a crucial part of the field in the red zone. On the other side, Julius Luffridge, all odds stacked against him, boxes stacked against him literally on the field. What does he do? 25 attempts, 153 rushing yards, and a touchdown, of course, because that's what Julius Luffridge does every game. Good to see him get a W out of all the work he puts in.
Julius Luffridge, a season-high 153 rushing yards, a touchdown for good measure, and a ridiculous 6.1 yards per carry. How about Jack Capaldi, 12 of 17, 117 yards, a touchdown and an interception, 11 of 12 in the second half in terms of completions. He was really sharp and helped Fordham come back in this game on the defensive end. Well, you mentioned Niall Perkins, the 2 interceptions. Matt Jaworski gets the critical 3rd down sack. And have to talk about James Conway. 8 tackles. He ties his teammate Ryan Greenhagen for the all-time Fordham record. Good vibes today in Jack Coffey Field, Moglia Stadium. The Rams get a win.
Finally, those older players, those leaders on this Ram team, all coming together, having a good collective game. Some names like Mike Courtney, names like Matt Jaworski, Niall Perkins, Mekhi Felton. Finally, all of them putting it all together and getting one in the dub column for the Fordham Rams.
Heartbreak for the Colgate Raiders. They fall to 2-7, and more important, 1-2 in Patriot League play. Their Patriot League title hopes dash today as the Fordham Rams pay spoiler. Rams improve to 1-8, their first win of the season, and that's how we'll sign off. For our sidelines reporter Annabelle Watson, for my color commentary guy Evan Harkin, I'm Lou Orlando. Once again, the Rams get their first win of the season, 20-14 over Colgate. Let's send it back to the Rose Hill Studios, Madi Dembele and Lydia Priner.
The one-on-one post-game report.
Ladies and gentlemen, one lesson that I have learned throughout my 21 years of living, it isn't over until the fat lady sings. I believe that's the expression that is spewed constantly. I'm here in the studio, WFUV Studios, Fordham University, the Bronx, New York, with Lydia Priner, and we just saw one heck of a Fordham football comeback. It's almost as if everything that we said in the halftime kind of came true there. I mean, like, your thoughts?
I'm just happy for Fordham to get the win on a day like today.
There
Beautiful day outside. It's great I'm assuming it's great for the morale of the team. Obviously, we heard at the end that, the team's jumping up and down on the sidelines. It's really good to see because, again, the season's kind of out of reach, but just getting those victories and little things where you can, it just makes it that much better of a feeling for the players who, despite having a tough season, have still put, their blood, sweat, and tears into this. So I'm happy they got rewarded today.
Not just for the players, but also for us here in the WFUV studios. Kurt Sipple and Tucker Austin in the back also going crazy with Lydia and myself. But for those who missed it, let's just jump right into the highlights. Opening up the second half, Fordham's drive in Raider territory is briefly halted by the Colgate sack. Cole Kozlowski posts their 6th sack of the game. And then afterwards, a balanced 9-play Fordham drive is completed with a Julius Luffridge 13-yard rush attempt. Fordham is then able to tie the game 7 apiece.
Capaldi the snap. Handoff Luffridge, runs left, 10, 5, reaching for the end zone. Touchdown Fordham. 7-6 as Luffridge gets on the scoreboard.
The Raiders quick to respond. 7 plays and 75 yards does the trick. A 32-yard completion to Reed Swanson, followed by a Sterney 27-yard run, retakes the lead for Colgate, 14-7.
Okay, moving quickly. Sterney off to run again. Wide open space up the middle. 15, 10, 5, touchdown. Jake Sterney, 27-yard rushing touchdown. And Colgate answers right back.
Colgate continuing on their lead after a sack on Capaldi. Ashawn Sims gets the strip sack for the Colgate recovery on the opponent's 37. Getting the ball back, Fordham goes back to the basics. During a 6-play, 68-yard drive, Jack Capaldi rumbles down the field for 41 big ones. Ball game is now tied once again, 14-all.
Capaldi keeps it on the left side. First down in space. Past the 30, past the 20, past the 10, into the end zone. Touchdown Fordham.
Another long Fordham drive dominated a 53-yard ground attack, and it's finished with a 12-yard Capaldi toss to Mekhi Felton.
Capaldi the snap. Play action, throws, left side for the end zone. Mekhi Felton goes up, makes the catch, and gets the foot in. First touchdown of the season for Mekhi Felton, and the Rams have a lead, 20-14.
And with a win imminent, the game on the line, the Rams in the right place at the right time, coming up huge with a Matt Jaworski sack on the Colgate 39.
Sterney looking to throw, pressure from Jaworski, he brings him down! The second sack of the season for the preseason Defensive Player of the Year. Jaworski gets the sack. What a big stop on third down for the Rams.
And once again, ladies and gentlemen, I believe it was Charles Dickens. Lydia, I don't know if you want to correct me here. A tale of two cities, I think, is the sentiment for the two halves of this game. That was definitely the case. But before we jump into anything, before we give our own perspectives, I think I would like to hear from the two guys who are in the booth. Lou Orlando and Evan Harkin are going to join us here in the studio. Boys, I don't know if you guys can hear us, but how are you guys doing?
Madi, we're pretty good, man. It's nice to do these games after a win, and that was pretty spectacular. I think you lose a little hope that way that first half goes. Trip Holly gets the start. It doesn't look too good. Capaldi comes in. He doesn't look too good. For the Rams to come out the second half, the way they did, play some of the cleanest football we've seen them play and make the big stops and big plays and big moments that they had failed to do in really every week leading up to this. That's a great feeling in the locker room, and it's a great feeling up here in the booth.
Feeling great up here as well. I mean, different emotion, vibes, feelings, and faces that we're seeing around Moglia Stadium, especially the football team and us here in the booth, of course, than we've seen all season because it's the first win for the Rams.
First of all, we just wanted to say, a great call from you two once again today. But with Fordham getting their first win, how do you guys think a win like this can, help spark a Fordham offense who really hasn't played with confidence this year and hasn't had the opportunity to put up meaningful points on the board?
Well, you saw some things from Jack Capaldi that can give you a lot of optimism, hope, even confidence at some point. I mean, he pretty much did it on all himself on the one drive where he had a 45-yard rushing touchdown where he ran by multiple defenders, really made that touchdown happen with his legs. And then his biggest criticism on the offensive side of the ball is he can't throw downfield with accuracy. He put a pretty deep ball on Mekhi Felton, who caught it for a touchdown in the biggest moment of the game for the Fordham offense. So I think seeing what quarterback Jack Capaldi was able to do in the second half can give you tons of confidence.
Evan and Lou, I had to correct this question to you guys specifically. Obviously, you're in the booth there. But, again, as we talked about in the halftime report, I think Fordham's main point of attack is the run, right? Live by the run, die by the run. And it kind of worked for them in the second half. I kind of question whether or not that could be a sustainable amount of running that you can do, that being perhaps, I don't want to say your number one and only thing that you do, but you run a considerable amount. Now, I don't know if you could put points on the board like that, but Fordham did put points on the board. Do you think that's sustainable going on for the rest of the season? Do you think that this team could get away with just being a ground attack team rather than being able to fling the football?
I think it's a valid question because when you look at some of their first conference games, Lafayette, Holy Cross, Luffridge was completely smothered in that Holy Cross game, and Holy Cross said, we're going to load the box, similar to what Colgate did today, putting 8-9 in the box and saying, all right, you're going to run the ball, I dare you to run the ball and try and go into the teeth of our defense. Today, Julius Luffridge was a man inspired, and he's always pretty good. He looked a little bit different today. There must have been something else going on there. He had that extra edge that you see special players have in big moments. My thing is, the passing game, was it electric? Was it big plays downfield? No, but they found the short yardage plays that they really hadn't found all season long. Those 5-yard curls were wide open throughout the game, and if you're taking those, if you take what the defense gives you there, you're going to make the defense eventually adjust and have to do a little bit less in the box, and that, I think, is what happened as the second half progressed, where Capaldi started to fire a lot to Ricky Gonzalez, found Mekhi Felton, found Cole Thornton. You do the passing game just enough, and you do it successfully the way the Rams did in the second half, then those lanes for Luffridge are going to be even more wide open. No team's going to not key in on Julius Luffridge. He's still the focal point of this offense. You just have to make the passing attack respectable enough where you're going to allow Luffridge to not have to run through 9 guys in every play.
Luffridge looked like a man possessed today for sure, but the guys in front of him seem to be getting it done better than they have all season. That seemed to be the biggest reason why he averaged over 6 yards a carry. Hank Perry has played guard for this team, has started at this team for guard in the past, but has never played tackle for this team. He goes out there on the right tackle position, and every off-tackle run, whether it be him or David Evbomenya's side, seemed to hit right away. So both of those tackles doing a great job of giving Julius room to work today.
You talk about that offensive line, the horses in the front, allowing Julius to be Julius. You have a game coming up against Bucknell, and offensive line is something that goes, I want to say we pay lip service to it. A lot of people don't understand how integral they are to a potent and stout run game. How do you bring that into the next game, and how do you get guys? Because especially whether it's NFL or whether it's college, it's about getting these guys and developing them. How do you get them as one cohesion unit as you go along in this season?
Well, that's what they've been trying to do all season long. They've been getting better, started out with the most sacks in the FCS. They've been getting pretty much better and better each game, gave up a lot of sacks there today. But in terms of the run game, it's watching whatever you did out there today. Julius Luffridge averaged over 6 yards a carry. He had 153 rushing yards. So whatever that offensive line did against probably the Patriot League's best front seven, definitely the league's best linebacking core on Colgate, you find out what you did and replicate that formula for the games to come.
Lou and Evan, we got to ask before we let you guys go about the costumes you guys had on pregame. Is that something you guys, kept on all game? And because of the Fordham win today, perhaps this could be seen as a good luck charm? Are you thinking about bringing that to Bucknell with you next weekend?
There's a lot of questions that Evan and I have to weigh here. We did not keep the masks on for the duration of the game or even the start of the game because neither mask really has good peripheral vision, and being able to see the field, I think, is probably important. But it was important for our vibes. We wanted to dress up, make a big occasion of it. And now I have to ponder whether I have to wear this pink suit every game the rest of the way. But if that's the case, I'm down with that. Pink suits are baller. I think the Halloween masks, this was a one-time special Halloween weekend thing. The pink suit, that's something else. We might have to pursue that down the line.
It's 100% the pink suit. That was the answer. So Lou is going to have to wear that for every game coming up.
Fair enough.
You guys may have to keep the mask just in the bag, just in case.
Yeah, we'll keep it in the bag.
Know.
We'll bring it with us.
Yeah, just always, just no matter what you do, just keep the mask. We saw the Twitter post there, so they look rocking, they look awesome. Boys, thank you again for another excellent call on the game. Ladies and gentlemen, Lou Orlando and Evan Harkin, you could give them snaps, you could give them claps, but one thing you have to do is give them their applause. A wonderful Fordham football season they've been calling all game long. And a wonderful job Lydia Priner has been doing in the booth with me. Ladies and gentlemen, from the WFUV studios here of Fordham University in the Bronx, New York, I have been Madi Dembele. And again, Lydia Priner, wonderful. My first time working with her on the cameras in the booth. The maestro behind the board, it's going to be Tucker Austin. Thank you so much for Tucker Austin being a part of this group. Kurt Simple, ladies and gentlemen, that's a name that you have to watch for every single time that you are here. Thomas in the back as well. Bobby Chaffardini is the sports director here at WFUV, and Fordham Football is a production of WFUV Sports. Ladies and gentlemen, good night and good game.